Good evening and a very warm welcome to Páirc Uí Chaoimh for live coverage of the Bon Secours Premier Senior Football Championship here on the Irish Examiner. Three quarter-finals down for decision over this weekend, and we've got the first of them coming your way this evening from 7:30 as St Finbarr's take on Eire in what should be a very much appetising encounter. Joining me this evening will be Conor Counihan and Patrick Kelly for tonight's coverage. But before we look to the teams, let's hear from both camps this evening. Shortly we'll be hearing from St Finbarr's manager Paul O'Keefe. But firstly, let's head to Ovens and hear from the Eire manager Harry O'Reilly. So, Harry, tell us how have preparations been going over the last fortnight in your debut season, playing a Premier Senior Football Championship quarter-final?
Yeah, sure. Preparation's going very well. Lads are in great shape at the moment. Very few injuries and great excitement around the panel with the lads and everything, and really looking forward to Friday night.
Talk to me about the three games you've had in your group. Of course, we had the second game live on the Irish Examiner, the game against Castlehaven. It was a cracker that day down in St Mary's, 219 to 216 defeat for yourselves, but you came out then backing it up with a 3-point win over Newcestown in the third round.
Yeah, I suppose two completely different games. So we played quite well against Castlehaven, but a bit open defensively. And while it looks good to score 216, you'd win most games with it. We conceded an awful lot in 219, so we tried to brush up on that a bit and tighten up defensively, really. Newcestown was a completely different game. It was we played 30 minutes of the game with 14 men between a send and off and a black card. So when we were defending, we had a lot of men behind the ball, and they normally play with a lot of men behind the ball as well. So totally different type of game. 111 to 11 points. We're lucky enough to get a goal, and it was the deciding factor in the game. But tough championship game, but great to come out on the winning side.
How hard has it been, Harry, I suppose, coming up from Senior A to Premier Senior? What's the jump like? How big is that gap going across onto the train?
Yeah, and I suppose we came from Premier Intermediate to Senior A up to Senior, like in the 2-3 seasons. So it's been a big jump, but a lot of these lads would have been we have a youngish team. A lot of them playing at the top level of underage for many years and won a minor Premier Championship and things like that, under 21s, everything else. So look, they're used to playing at the top grade. I don't think it's that big a jump for them. The party's really looking after them well, fitness wise, coaching wise, everything else. They're in great shape. They're really dedicated bunch of players. They want to learn, they want to listen, and it's just been progression the whole way with them. And as I was saying to you earlier, like each of our games in the group stages of the championship so far they've been different games, but we've learned a lot from each game as well. For the open high scoring game, as we said, against Castlehaven, to maybe tighter, closer affairs against Carby Rangers and Newcestown. So all season senior teams, like over the years, like, so look, we're delighted how we're going along at the moment, but another big challenge awaits us now in the park on Friday night.
Yeah, no doubt, and that is St Finbarr's, of course, you're facing tonight. One of the big three in the Cork Senior Football Championship. And I suppose when you're at this stage of the season, at the business end, it's always great to be a part of it, and especially from your point of view, after being back in Premier Intermediate, winning the Premier Intermediate title in 2019, I'd say this is one of your wildest dreams, to be up this far playing senior football against one of the big boys in the quarter-final.
Yeah, we won Intermediate in 2014, and it probably took us longer than expected to get to where we wanted to be up at the top level. We were beaten in a couple of semi-finals, and then when we did win Premier Intermediate, normally the winner that goes to the senior football straight away. But the new Senior A competition was introduced that year, so we had to go and win that then to make it to the top level. So look at it's probably, I wouldn't go say a dream now. It was probably a dream back in 2014 all right now, but the last couple of years we're building steadily towards where we want to be. We think we're good enough to compete with any of the teams, and we'll look forward to it, and we hope to be very competitive on Friday night.
So what are you hoping for Friday night? Obviously you want to come out the right side of the result, but is a performance the big aim on Friday night in Páirc Uí Chaoimh?
Yeah, performance and results. That's what we'll be aiming for. We're not going in to make up numbers by any means. Look, if we get a good performance, we're confident we'll get a good result as well. And look, it's been a long year for the lads. We had to play the 2020 final back in June, so it's kind of we brought it along in stages. when we got over that final, the next thing was try and get out of our group. So that was the big aim. We've got out of that. So each game now, we're taking each game one game by game now at this stage. So this is the first, and we hope it's the first of 3 games in this knockout section.
And you are just mentioning football. You did have the hurling to contend with as well this summer. You came out and won the hurling final against Bullock in August, and you've had to play another 3 hurling games between the football games. So there's a bit of a juggling circus act has been going on over the past 2 months or so.
Yeah, it's been very, very long season, very tiring on the lads. And to get themselves up mentally for all them games is difficult alone. Never mind all the training involved as well. But look, we have Patrick Mulcahy coaching our footballers and looks after the strength and condition for both the hurlers and the footballers, and he's done an amazing job. We've come through the whole lot with no injuries, which is just unbelievable. So that's just testimony to him. But the lads themselves as well, during lockdown, they really applied themselves and they were given programs, and they enjoy training. They train in their small groups, they train on their own and everything, and come back in great condition. So they're a pleasure to be involved with, and just super lads, and they're getting their just desserts at the moment with their successful run. So
you actually kind of have answered my last question for you. How's the panel? Full bill of health going into Friday night?
Full bill of health, with one player, Ona Shea, got a serious injury back in early July. He was actually against the Bars in the league match, and but apart from that, we have full bill of health going into Friday. Yeah.
Now let's head down to the Bars, and Paul O'Keefe, their manager, joins us. And Paul, thanks very much for joining us ahead of tonight's game. I suppose I want to go back to the first game that we saw earlier in the season against Ballincollig. And I know you spoke with our own Michael Moynihan after the game. There was no doubt that you would have been very disappointed. It was having a 10 or 11 point lead early in the second half, and to get it cut down to 1. No, you did come out with the points, the 2 points win. Or the 1 point win, I should say, for the 2 points on the table, but probably still very disappointing to have a performance like that.
Yeah, look, in hindsight, look, you came away from that game being really disappointed, and probably did cost you a semi-final spot, which would have been handy given some of the injuries we have. And but it was kind of hard to put your finger on it. Look, maybe we made a few personnel changes, and look, I kind of distinctly remember at the water break, I think we were 8 points up. Now we'd conceded, I think we were 13 points up, but we'd conceded kind of 5 in a row, and we spoke about it at the water break. But in my own mind, I kind of said, look, well, there's no way you're going to concede 8 more points and lose the game. Even at the water break, you kind of still had that in your head, which was probably a mistake on my part as well. But it was just a funny kind of finish to the game. We lost our momentum, and now, look, I suppose the other side of it was, it was kind of a stick to beat the lads with as well in terms of complacency, kind of going forward for the rest of the year, So, look, the critical thing was that you got the result, and we managed to dig it out, and I suppose you were bringing Ian Maguire on towards the end of the game, which was a massive boost, and so. Look, the key thing, look, with that kind of first game of the season, it's the result that matters. If somebody had said to me before the game that you'd get out there with a 1 point win, I'd have said, happy days, drive on. It's kind of one of those games.
And then you came along to beat Highland Rovers. It looked to be on paper a bit of a struggle at times, and then you defeated Clonakilty by 7 points. And I suppose, like ourselves in Park, you're in that day, the calculators were out just to try and see who's going to finish where, and to find out that you only lost out on a semi-final spot by a point. Is that a gut-wrenching one to take, or are you happier to be in a quarter-final to keep the games coming all the time?
No, look, I suppose, look, ideally we'd have liked to have got straight to a semi-final and take that pressure off. I think for us, less is more in terms of just in terms of the injuries and the dual players situation and stuff. I know that isn't an issue this weekend, but so look, it would have been nice to qualify straight for a semi-final, but it is what it is in terms of look, it's just we didn't qualify, so you just move on and play your quarter-final and hopefully get through that, and you're set up for a semi-final. It's probably no harm, like you're playing kind of, if you win, it's every 2 weeks for the next the next 6 weeks, and it's nicely set up.
So the game's going to be throwing. We're not far away from throwing at this stage, but there is a couple of injury concerns from what I can gather. Obviously, Ian Maguire was one from earlier in the season. He had a bit of a hand problem. Where is the Cork captain at the moment?
I know he's fine. He's back to himself. He's flying. So there's there's no worries about Ian. So we've had a few other niggly bits and pieces. And look, Dylan Quinn had a bad hamstring injury. I don't think that's any kind of trade secret or anything. But he's had a really bad injury. So look, that's probably his season over. Well, it's not probably. It is, which is a shame from after coming back from surgery last year. It's really unfortunate. And we just have the usual other kind of niggly stuff, but nothing too major.
I should mention, I suppose, there is one name that people aren't going to be familiar from a Bar's point of view tonight. A guy called Conor McCrickard, who's had quite a decent influence in the panel from what I can gather.
Yeah, really good. We were lucky transferred down for work, and we just managed to pick him up. He was training with us, and we gently twisted his arm, and he's come on board. But he's a real talent, and he's a forward. It's always good to have options up front. So hopefully we'll get to see a bit more of him on Friday night.
Talk to me about Eire, Paul, because obviously they're not one of the teams who you would know to be at a senior football stage in a championship. Obviously, they've won the last 2 championships they've competed. So what are you expecting tonight from the Ovens Base Club?
I'm expecting a ferocious game. If truth be told, we played them. I think it was our first league game out in the Bars when they were coming up to their county final, and we had a real battle out there with them. They're a club that's on the up. They play very good football. They play at pace. I don't think they'll have any fear of us, sadly. And it's a genuine championship game. We're taking nothing for granted, and I expect a full hour of fairly furious football tonight.
Before I let you go, I should mention about the minor football from a fortnight ago. A great win in the Premier 1 final against St. Michael's, a game we covered live here on the Irish Examiner. And I know your own young fella came on in the second half. But as a whole, it's been quite a decent time from a Bar's footballing point of view.
Yeah, look, it's great. Look, and it's great to see the minor football team coming through. They're an excellent side. As far as I'm aware, I don't think they've ever lost a championship game, I think they're the first team in the club to have done it, which is a remarkable record. But they're a great bunch. I was involved a small bit with them this year in terms of training and that, and they're a great bunch, and it's great to see that kind of pipeline of footballers coming through. It augurs well for the future, which is always a good thing. So
finally, going into tonight's game, probably going to be a tough battle, but definitely you're hoping for the right side of the coin of the result tonight.
As always, look, you're hoping you're going to come out on the right side of it. But look, I suppose one of the things with Eire is we're not used to playing them, so you kind of don't know what the form is, so that there's a lot more of the unknown going into this than there would be, say for like the Clonakilty game or Ireland. We've been used to playing them over the years, but Eire is kind of a really big unknown for us, and that's a little bit scary going into it. But hopefully we come out on the right side of the argument tonight anyway.
Very warm welcome back to Páirc Queeve, and thanks very much to Paul O'Keefe and Harry O'Reilly, who I caught up with during the week. And joining us here in the commentary position is Conor Counihan and Patrick Kelly. And gents, thanks very much for joining us this evening. Patrick, we'll start with yourself. An interesting game for both sides this evening, this quarter-final. I suppose from a Barr's point of view, they would have been disappointed to be beaten in last year's semi-final. But then from Eire, this is all new territory for them. First time playing Premier Senior football in Cork.
Yeah, very interesting game. Should be a cracker. I think it's the tie of the quarter-final. Bars, for me, I think would be slight favourites for the county now with Nemo gone. Very experienced, powerful team. I think there's their 6th quarter-final in a row. For Eire, they're probably in bonus territory, having just come up from Senior A. Got out of a very competitive group there. Got a great win the first round against Carbery Rangers. Unlucky against the Haven, put it up to them and show they were at this level, and then a massive win against Newstown the last game. They're out of hurling now with a few weeks because they'd have about 11 or 12 starting in hurling and football. So, Patrick Sam will have them well primed, but the Bars very, very experienced, very strong, very powerful. So they'd be slight favourites, but should be a very good game.
And Conor, from a footballing point of view in Cork, we're down now to the final 7 as things stand at this moment in time. We'll be down to 6 after tonight's game. But the standard of this weekend, the 3 quarter-finals, is going to be quite entertaining for the weekend.
Yeah, like as Paddy said there, look, I think we have 2 good teams. Bars, very experienced at this level. Eire on the way up. It's very tight, I mean, looking at the bookies, I think the Bars, Castlehaven and Douglas are all available at 3-1 at the minute. But I think Eire have a great chance here this evening. They need things to go right from, but I saw them against Castlehaven, and they were very impressive going forward. Maybe slightly open at the back, but they'll have learned a bit from that. And with fellas like John Cooper and that driving forward, be interesting game. Midfield is going to be very important. Breaking ball, conditions a bit slippery tonight, so there'll be a bit more breaking ball than ever. So yeah, no, look, I just hope that we get a really good game.
Okay, let's have a look. Before we look at the teams, let's have a look at the draw going before this weekend's championship. And of course, Douglas, after having that win over Nemo, go in as seed favourites, and seed number 1 I should say, and they're into a semi-final, and they await the winners of Sunday's opening game between Castlehaven and Valley Rovers. Of course, that game is throwing in at 2 o'clock on Sunday, and we'll have that for you live on the Irish Examiner on Sunday. Of course, this game then tops the bottom half of the draw, so it's quarter-final B, as you see it on your screen, and it should be an interesting encounter. And this quarter-final, as things stand, will face the winners of Valley Rovers and between Duhallow and Clonakilty, I should say, of course, and that game throws in at 4 o'clock Sunday. Of course, all 3 games will be live on the Irish Examiner. Let's have a look then at the first quarter-final of the weekend, tonight's teams as they will start, and there are changes to both sides. Let's start with Eire, who make 2 changes to the side that defeated Newcestown in the 3rd round game. Diarmuid Dineen comes in, I should say, as well as Rian O'Flynn, who comes in corner forward. Brian Hurley is going to be dropping out, as well as Darragh McCarthy of the starting team. Of course, Daniel Goulding, who's going to be a big inspiration to the side, scoring 16 points in the championship so far to date. Well, Dylan Foley, he's got a goal in each game. He's got 3-1 to his name so far in championship 2021. As for the Bars, they've got 3 changes to the side for the team tonight. Out go Luke Hannigan, Killian Myers-Murray, who's got an injury, and Owen McGreevy. And in come Adam Lyne, Owen Commons and Colm Barrett. Ian Maguire, great to see him back after having a hand injury earlier on in the summer. And Stephen Sherlock, he's already got 115 to this championship in his career for the Bars. He's got 9 goals, 186 points, and he is the 3rd highest scorer in this championship to date so far. So lads, let's get your opinions to start, Paddy, with Eire.
Yeah, I suppose with Eire, we were here for the county final a few months ago and they beat Mallow, and the most impressive thing about Eire that day was their athleticism. That middle quadrant there of John Cooper, Ronan O'Toole, Jack Murphy and Colm O'Callaghan, 4 young, very athletic lads. The Bars' big strength is their physicality around the middle. Maguire and Commons, Brian Hayes there. So that quartet will have to get the upper hand. Obviously, feeding Goulding inside, Dan from Freeze will be very, very important. Chris Kelly in goal is outstanding goalkeeper at this level. His kickouts and the Eire kickout strategy is actually very, very good. So the Bars are very, very aggressive on opposition kickouts. So I'll be interested to see how Eire go there. But it's the makings of a cracker. I think it should be a good open game. So as Conor said, Eire were very open against the Haven. They'll probably try and tighten up a small bit more this time, but a cracking game in store.
3 changes for the Bars for the Bars tonight here. Killian Myers-Murray, I suppose, is going to be quite a big loss, as well as Owen McGreevy, who really done very well for the Bars last year in last year's championship, the 2020 championship.
Yeah, but still, on Cummins there is going to strengthen things out now. I don't think he's going to play a Conor Farr. I think he'll move out to the middle of the field, and you'll see a bit of a shuffle there with maybe Brian Hayes going to centre forward. But, big men like Cummins, Ian Maguire, Brian Hayes in the half-forward line, that gives the Bears a good advantage. Defensively, it'll be interesting to see, whether Eire can open up a few cracks there, because I think there may be some vulnerabilities there in that defence. But it's going to be a question of people taking their opportunities on the day. And, there's no pressure on Eire on this one. I think everyone is expecting the Bears to win, albeit a tough game. So, I'd love to see Eire get a few scores on the board, get up, and let's see how the Bears adapt under pressure.
I suppose the one man that a lot of Cork people won't know much about is the man wearing number 11, Conor McCrickard. More than likely he's going to be starting in the inside. Was supposed to be playing in the opening round game, but the transfer was actually withdrawn because he was still involved in his home club in Down. They'd play the county final, and then he comes down, and the reports are that he's a very, very good player.
Yeah, certainly we've been hearing a lot of exciting things about him, and I think with the proof of the pudding will be in the eating now tonight. But yeah, look, based on what we've heard today, you can expect good things from him.
Ian Maguire also a big leader for both the red jersey of Cork and the blue jersey of the Bears.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I suppose a small bit of worrying is that Ian has been missing games there in recent times to different injuries, and he's no different to any other player. You really need to be getting your players on the field as much as possible, and I think he's probably missed a bit of time. Not sure how serious it was, but just hopefully that it's fully recovered now.
I suppose, Patrick, I know we spoke to Paul O'Keefe during the week about this. They were very disappointed in their second half performance. From a Ballincollig point of view, you nearly caught them close home, but what kind of Bears could turn up here tonight is the question.
Yeah, as I said, they're a very experienced team, so a very settled team. I'd be surprised if they're cock cold here, but playing the Bears, they're probably the most physical team at senior and county level. They play very aggressive, high press on you. Maguire back in, he didn't start against us. He came on the last 10 minutes, and his ability to win ball, whether it be clean or just to break it down to himself. You look at Colin Lyons there, Dennis O'Brien, Maguire, Hayes, and Commons come in. They're huge around the middle, and they really press aggressively on your kick out. They do leave themselves a bit open at the back. So that'll be interesting with Dylan Foley and Daniel Goulding inside. Can they do damage off that? And with the strong runners they have coming through, but again, they're well equipped. I think the Bears to have a right cut off the county. They've very good backs in like the Sam Ryan now and the Dennehy. So there's very few weaknesses in them. But again, with the Bears, I do think that the Eire have the athleticism to go toe-to-toe with them. So it should be a cracker. As Conor said, I think Eire need to get a good start. I
suppose the one thing from an Eire point of view, we probably mentioned already, Kieran Sheehan out, which would be quite a loss from the Ovens-based club side.
Yeah, I suppose after the county final when Kieran's body wasn't able for both, so I think he played a bit of hurling this year is all he was able for. John Mullins missed that game against Mallow, the county final as well, and he's back in full back. He's a big player for them. It'll be between himself and Conor McGoldrick to pick up Stephen Sherlock, and when you play the Bears, it's all about the first thing is stopping Sherlock, and how they go there will have a big impact on the game. But as I said, Eire are in bonus territory, but at the same time, this grade is so competitive, to get back to this stage, there's no guarantee of that in future years, especially for a dual club with so many dual players. So Eire will be looking at this as a massive opportunity to go even further.
And I suppose, Conor, just to briefly touch on the two games Sunday, we'll do it in more depth a little bit later on, but a cracking doubleheader here again on Sunday for anyone who wants to come along. The advice is to be here early.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're really at the real pressure point of it now, so we should see the best of football, and really competitive games. Hard to pick the winners on that. A lot of people will probably again fancy Castlehaven and that, but again, I think those games are very even, which is great, and I think that's one of the good things about the championship as the new system came in. We're slowly but surely getting to the really competitive games at the end of the championship, which is what we want. We'll be looking forward to it anxiously. Interested in tonight to watch the two corner forwards for Eire, Dylan Foley, who was very impressive against Castlehaven, and also Rian O'Flynn, who was introduced as a substitute. A lot of speed, particularly in Rian O'Flynn. Big open space out there tonight. I'm not so sure Daniel will want all that big space, but he'll still manage a few, no doubt.
And I suppose, Diarmuid Dineen, you actually mentioned that Castlehaven game. That goal that he got against the Haven in the second half was only a one hell of a goal. Yeah,
look, I mean, all of their backs can attack at different stages. Eire, as I said earlier, it's closing it down when the Bears counter-attack. That'll be important for them here. But as I said, nothing to lose. If they can play with a bit of abandon and that sort of thing, get a break even around the middle field with Ron O'Toole and Jack Murphy, then it's all to play for.
Well, it's going to be a busy weekend here on the Irish Examiner. We've got, 20 or something games tomorrow. Games going to be covered all across the weekend on irishexaminer.com. And we've got 2 live games for Sunday. That doubleheader here in Páirc Uí Chaoimh in the Bon Secours Premier Senior Football Championship. 2 o'clock start for Castlehaven and Valley Rovers, and the 4 o'clock start between Clonakilty and Duhallow will be on air from around 1:30 when Colm O'Connor will be leading us through the opening game. We look out in the field. There was a heavy shower here at 6 o'clock. It could have been 2 or 3 millimetres of rain. Quite heavy conditions, but it's been dry since around 6:30, so conditions not so bad. We're after having a pile of rain since Tuesday morning. Reckoning is around over 3 inches of rain has fallen in Cork City. And in fairness to the ground staff, the conditions here in Páirc Uí Chaoimh in absolutely immaculate condition as we stand for both teams who go into their last minute huddles to get ready for our national anthem. Beautiful evening here to report on Leeside. Beautiful dry evening after that rain a little bit earlier on as things start to settle down. The heat of action, the heat of battle going to be getting underway under the auspices of multiple time referee of the All-Ireland final, Conor Lane. Big game sees a big man in charge as we stand for a minute's silence. Standing for a minute's silence for Brendan Barry of Tracton, who passed away, former vice president of the board and a prominent member of Carrickdoon's board as well, and we'll be standing attention in the remembrance of Brendan Barry of the Tracton GA Club this evening. Yesterday, Gurev Shades, as we remain standing for the national anthem before the big match, throwing in momentarily. So the preliminaries are out of the way, and I was just seeing Conor Lane's out of the corner of my eye. Well, he's caught now in the way because the black book wasn't in his pocket. He said in the 4th official. But lads, final word, prediction time.
I think it's hard to look beyond the Bars. They're the more experienced team at this level. They have a lot going from their well-balanced throat. But I wouldn't write off Eire, but the start here is crucial.
Yeah, I think Petty summed it up there. Yeah, it's the Bars. I think, start is crucial. Eire need to get that start. And if they do, who knows what will happen. But, money on the Bars.
Well, Conor Lane has a choice of footballs as 2 of them are being kicked out here. I'm going to see a chance to see Conor Lane's footballing skills. Might be a good referee. It's not a bad kick for a referee either. The man from Bantier, Lawyer, well experienced official for the big night here. Friday night football here live on the Irish Examiner to get things underway in the Bon Secours Premier Senior Football Championship quarter-final weekend. And it's Eire with the opening possession through Ronan O'Toole. And switching that play over towards the far side of the field. Chance for Eire to settle into stride as Colm O'Callaghan just offloads that ball back outside to Hallisey, and O'Callaghan back on the loop once again. Brings in the midfielder Jack Murphy. Murphy got a point against Castlehaven, the game we brought you live a couple of weeks ago. On a game that was 219 to 216 victory for the Haven. Long ball in, looking for the mark inside there. Great ball in there from Daniel Goulding, but just landed a bit long. And a chance now for the Bars. Their first possession of the evening as Ian Maguire now sets up and gets the Bars up and running for the evening. Adam Lyne wearing number 17 starting this game. Place of Luke Hannigan. Remember, Killian Myers-Murray and Owen McGreevy also out for the Toker Bay side this evening. Alan O'Connor now in possession, offloading to Jamie Burns. Eire defensively quite strong in the opening stages as Owen Commons now gets possession. Offloading back to the centre-back, Alan O'Connor, and switches over towards that far side to Dennis O'Brien. O'Brien back into the Bars captain, Ian Maguire, the 27-year-old, offloading that ball through the channels. Here's his midfield partner, Brian Hayes, dual all-star with the under-20s this year. The Bars now just trying to feel out this Eire side. Playing 14 men in their own half of the field are the Ovens Bay side, as possession now in the centre of the park with Jamie Burns, as the Bars now seeing holes in this defence. Colin Barrett offloading it inside in towards Conor McCrickard, the man from Down. Good bounce pass, not the greatest of passes back though, but the Bars man did very well. Risky pass inside for his end of Denny. He didn't give him much of an opportunity, and that allows Eire to break away. John Cooper now working through the lines. Jack Murphy, and ball over the top here for Colm O'Callaghan. Lone man inside, so O'Callaghan's going to have to try and ride a couple of tackles here, and does very well. Here's Dylan Foley back outside to O'Callaghan, and patient from Eire. Inside in the square, Daniel Goulding all on his own inside, looking for a big run inside. Long ball inside by Jack Murphy, finds Goulding, turns back on the right peg. Shot going in from Goulding. That's a great start for the Ovens Base Club after 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, great score there from Dan. Sam Ryan is picking up Daniel Goulding inside. Alan O'Connor was kind of half sweeping, but good ball inside Dan and leaving 1-on-1. Like he's lethal from that angle off any side. So interesting on the other side of the field, Sherlock and the new lad McCrickard are left inside 2-on-2. Mullins and McColdrick are man marking them.
So a good start for the Ovens Base Club. That'll be something that Harry O'Reilly and his management team would be happy to get underway with. As Owen Commons now releases the ball down towards the near sideline. Adam Lyne, here's Brian Hayes. Long ball in, looking for that mark inside. Just scuffled there by Stephen Sherlock. In on the back on McCrickard was John Mullins. McCrickard with the shot. It's going to land short into the chest of Chris Kelly, who settles himself. And it's a short kick there by McCrickard.
Yeah, both sides very cautious at the minute. You know, possession is key. Again, very open if that ball can be got in fast to either forward line. But as I said, both teams getting numbers behind the ball and just playing it around, waiting for the gap. And I suppose, you know, what you really need is a line breaker in this situation. And I suppose, you know, the Bars will look to Ian Maguire and I suppose Eire will look to Colm O'Callaghan and John Cooper and that. But yeah, very, very patient build-up now by all sides.
Kevin Hallisey was pinned for overcarrying the ball as Maguire took it free. One great hand in there from the Eire man, but a chance here for the Bars. There's a 3-on-2 situation if they can use it. Maguire going in, well, he's going to take the hand-fisted pass and sticks it over the bar. All that coming from Kevin Hallisey conceding the free in the centre of the field, Paddy.
Yeah, and that's the big strength of the Bars, their physicality around the middle. They invite you in, and Hallisey got caught. Eire nearly had it, one broke back, and Maguire was just drifting in. There was possibly a goal chance, but he probably did the right thing and taking his point early.
Great mark claimed there by Ronan O'Toole. Plays into the centre of the park to John Cooper, it was. Outside to Jack Murphy. Murphy going for a shot. Well, that's a great reply from the Ovens Base Club here, Conor.
Yeah, great score from Jack Murphy. Great catch and the kick out, as you said, from Ronan O'Toole. Direct play. You know, 2-3 kicks of the ball and it's over the bar at the other end. So, yeah, all to play for now.
Really good lively start in the opening 5 minutes. Eire leading the Bars 2-1. Remember, the Bars in that entertaining game last year. 4th of October. What a night. Who can't forget that night when the Bars in the Haven went all the way to penalties in a horrible night in Páirc Uí Rinn. There's a foul there on Colin Lyons. It's going to be quickly taken here by Brian Hayes. Long ball inside. Just McCrickard misjudging the bounce on that occasion. Here's Conor McGoldrick, the under-20 hurling cornerback from the 2020 panel that defeated Dublin in the All-Ireland final back in July. Chris Kelly now in possession, playing a bit of a sweeping keeper role. Well, some Bars players going to have to engage with him. Owen Commons thought about it, as did Colin Barrett. Kelly still floating around on the side, but Dermot O'Hurley, he's happy enough to leave play continue on, and over carrying the ball on that occasion there was Diarmuid Dineen.
Yeah, and again there, that's what the Bars do. They invite you to carry the ball in around the middle third, and they're very physically strong. Off the Bars kick out the last time, it went to Dennis O'Brien, number 10. He's a huge kick out option for the Bars. Between himself, Commons, Maguire and Hayes, now they've 4 serious options, while still leaving the 2 danger men inside. Maguire 1-on-1 here now. Danger man
Stephen Shurla, but that's a great block inside there by the full-back John Mullins. Dennis O'Brien with an absolute gorgeous ball in inside the 13-metre line. Snuffed out there brilliantly by the full-back John Mullins. Of course, Eire Og really on a crest of a wave at the moment over the last 2 seasons, winning the Premier Intermediate Football Championship, defeating St Michael's in that final, and going on then to win the Senior A Football Championship of 2020, the inaugural running of the A Championship this year, as Eire Og now really putting it on and turning on the pace here. Long ball inside from Jack Murphy, walking inside to Dylan Foley. Man being held up inside, Colm O'Callaghan, that is. There's a free in there. A tackle there by Jamie Burns. Illegal, says Conor Lane. And it's a free in for Colm O'Callaghan and Eire Og.
Yeah, Colm O'Callaghan's been excellent for Eire Og on the 40. He came off early in the county final. Jamie Burns pick him up. It's a big ask there. But if Colm gets space to run at Jamie Burns, he'll give them massive problems. Jamie's on a tick there now already. So Eire Og have settled very, very well here and look very comfortable.
So it's a chance for Daniel Goulding. How many times have we seen this down throughout the years? Well, in this championship already, he's got 11 points from place ball, 10 of those from frees. And you could tack that on, another one to that one, as he extends the lead out to 2 points.
Yeah, again, that score started at the back. The Cooper brothers combining and Colm O'Callaghan getting fouled. And as Paddy said there, danger there maybe for the Bears. If Colm O'Callaghan gets ball on the run, Jack Murphy again causing a few problems out around the middle of the field.
Not the greatest kickouts here on that occasion, and that gave a chance for Ronan O'Toole to go inside the de-exclusion zone. Just pops the ball off. Ball walked inside. That looks like towards Dylan Foley. It is. He's gone for the flag. It looked like it might have been trailing wide, but it's gone between the uprights.
Yeah, Eire Og are really going after the Bars kick out here. They're squeezing right up, allowing nothing short, and that kick was aimed for Maguire, but Ronan O'Toole attacked it and drove at him and created a score for Dylan Foley. So great start for Eire Og.
John Curran's forcing to go along, looking for the talisman, with Ian Maguire just getting a fist on it. And that's going to be a line ball for Eire Og right in front of us, as that ball is kicked down the tunnel by Brian Hayes. It's a chance now for Eire Og to try and start off another attack here, as Ronan O'Toole plays that ball inside towards Colm O'Callaghan. Long one inside the centre by John Cooper. Dangerous ball if Cooper can land on it. He does. Pops the ball back outside. There's danger here. Rian O'Flynn going inside the 13-metre line, going across the face of goal though. And that's going to be the opening wide of this evening's quarter-final.
Yeah, again, Colm O'Callaghan getting on the ball, laying it off. Look, at this stage, Eire Og are getting a small bit of a grip on it. Obviously, hold a physical advantage in certain areas over the Bears, but still 3 points in it.
There's a bit of a mistake here, because Rian O'Flynn has picked up that ball. Ball walked across the 13-metre line. Heavy shoulder on Colm O'Callaghan. Back outside, out towards Dylan Foley. Foley under pressure. Colm O'Callaghan buried up by Ian Maguire. Good tackling by the Bars captain. That's applied pressure on the Eire Og side. Still an opportunity for a score from an Eire Og point of view, and they're just going to have to work it back outside to Rian O'Flynn. Bringing it up 30 yards off from goal. There's men in space over on this side. He finds himself in space. Well, that's a poor effort, but back to the kick out. John Curran's under pressure and not finding too many options here, Patrick.
No, and he was Sam Ryan slipped just as he collected the ball, but again, that's down to the pressure Eire Og are putting on. But that's the last 2 attacks now. They've put 2 wides, both of them very scoreable, but Eire Og being very, very positive here. They're pushing right up on the kick out. The Bars tend not to look short unless you absolutely give to them, so they'll tend to go along to Commons. They hear the shout of Greenwood. That's a common Bars call for Commons to the wing or Maguire to the wing.
Long ball down towards the near sideline. Heavy shoulder there between Dylan Foley, but Maguire came out of it. Okay, just pops that ball over the top and finds Brian Hayes. First time Bars have had possession in this half of the field in over 2 minutes, and it's wasted because it's gone out over the sideline from the Bars midfielder.
Yeah, under no pressure there. The ball went all over the line, and those type of things put a bit of extra pressure on the Bears. The score is 4 points to 1 at the minute. It could be a little bit more, and I suppose Eire Og need to punish while they are on top, because inevitably the Bears are going to come back into this game. Conor
McGoldrick taking this sideline ball back into the centre of the park to Michael Corkery, wearing number 17. Chris Kelly offloading outside to John Mullins now. Mullins going off and they run over that far side of the field. Eire Og scoring 442 in the 3 games of the group stages, conceding 339, so an average of 18 points and conceding 16, which isn't too bad from their point of view compared to the Bears' 17.5 points scoring average against conceding 14. So this game on paper seems to be a tight encounter, as Jack Murphy just got a lazy hand across the face but found Michael Murphy working his way inside. That's a good tackle there by Enda Dennehy just to knock the hand, but it's still a chance of the Bears. Well, it's not, it's Eire Og who have an opportunity here through Joe Cooper from the 45 metre line, playing it long ball inside. Great steer here from Dylan Foley. Recycles the ball outside to Michael Corkery, and here's Daniel Goulding working away outside to the 45 metre line. It's a heavy tackle there, but Rian O'Flynn riding the tackle, and that's a brilliant score from Rian O'Flynn, a great team score from Eire Og.
I think it was actually 10 Joe Cooper there got the score, but a great score from Eire Og. That all came from the ball Hayes gave away, put it over the sideline. To be fair, Eire Og were pinned back, but Chris Kelly came out of goal there to cause a split, and Eire Og very, very calm possession. Interestingly, Eire Og are really hugging the sidelines. They're sucking the Bears out and trying to get the runners through the middle, so they look very well coached, very well prepared for this Bears team.
As you can understand, the white number is quite difficult, but it is Joe Cooper getting that score as the Bears under pressure from their own kick out. Enda Dennehy back in possession, finds his way out towards Ian Maguire, popping the ball outside to Jamie Burns, but intercepted there was Burns, and reading the pass there Joe Cooper it is, I should say, pops the ball over towards that far side. There could be a goal opportunity on here if they try and take it on. Ball going in, as going for the flag. That's a super score, and this time that's from Kevin Hallisey.
Yeah, that's 6 points to 1. I'm not so sure the ball was intended for Hallisey. I think it was heading towards Daniel Goulding. But again, the Bears under pressure. Eire Og are finding gaps there when Bears set up their blanket. The Bears are getting men through that blanket, and it's very easy once they break the line. It's opening up for them.
So Hallisey with the latest score. 5 different scores already from an Eire Og point of view. Poor kick out here by Kearns, and the Bears really under pressure here as Jack Murphy plays a laced ball into the corner. And the question is, that touched, and the umpire says yes. It's an Eire Og 45.
Yeah, the big strength of the Bears as a team is their running power from the middle. The likes of Maguire, House from wing back there, Colin Lyons, and even Dennis O'Brien. They'll punch holes, but Eire Og are standing them up, and they're not allowing them through. That one break that Maguire had for the point he got, but the Bears aren't really a massive kicking team. They'll try and run the ball in and try and get Sherlock on the loop or burst through for goals. So Eire Og are being very, very aggressive, very positive. But look, all it takes is one little spark from the Bears, from Maguire, to burst through, and they're capable of getting a goal or two. But very impressive so far from Eire Og. Very patient on the ball. They're not getting caught in possession too much. They got caught 1 or 2 early on, but very, very impressive so far, and they look the superior team so far.
So Daniel Goulding will be taking this 45. He's already got 1 point from 45 in this championship to date. The opening quarter final of 3 games live here on the Irish Examiner this weekend. Competition sponsored by the Bond Secures, as Goulding steps up into this 45, beautifully struck and going between the uprights. And if Goulding's in that form for the rest of the night, the Bears could be under pressure for the evening.
That's a lovely strike, and I mean, it's just so important to have a good free taker around there, and they don't come much better than Daniel Goulding. But I suppose the key at the minute is, Bears are not capable of winning their own kick out at this point in time. They haven't got the ball forward beyond the halfway line for maybe 5 or 6 minutes. They need to get a grip of it now.
Well, this could be the start of it, because Owen Commons wins that ball and it's going straight into attack. Not to graze the passes, and there's an opportunity. 2 slips here by the Eire Og men as Conor McCrickard going in on goal. Is this going over the bar? It is. It's between the 2 uprights, and that's the score the Toker side badly needed.
Yeah, great fetch from Commons in midfield, got the mark. His kick in was probably sliced a small bit of hesitancy in the Eire Og backline. McCrickard had his Sherlock inside if he wanted to go for a give and go or work the goal, but to be fair, with 7-1 down, he took his point, and just to settle the Bears down.
Beautiful kick out here by Chris Kelly, finding Joe Cooper, climbing highest on that occasion. Maguire pulling him back, just pushing him under pressure, and here's Ronan O'Toole now, experienced Cork footballer from the past couple of seasons, just not caught in that occasion by Rian O'Flynn, and it gave an opportunity for Colm Scully, the dual star, to get himself up and running here with Adam Lyon, and finding Alan O'Connor as the Bears now looking to try and turn defence into attack. relatively quickly. Colin Barrett getting the 1-2. Going through the centre of the park as Eire Og looking to try and close the gap. So we're in water break territory for the first half. Ball walked back inside from Owen Commons. Brian Hayes offloading outside to the captain Maguire, turning on a sixpence, popping the ball outside to Dennis O'Brien. Always a safe pair of hands. Maguire, good running here from Hayes. Maguire seemed to have been taken out of it. Off the ball, play continues on. Dennis O'Brien offloading outside to Owen Commons. Here's Enda Dennehy now. Dennehy, well, one would have thought it was a foul in the back, and Dennehy, who had prior opportunity of disposing the ball, has been pinned for overcarrying.
Great play from Eire Og defence there, very patient, just inviting the Eire Og, or the Bars lads try and punch a hole, but very disciplined in the tackle and a good turnover. They look very, very comfortable there. Even Hayes and Maguire both trying to poke a few holes. They are leaving space inside 1-on-1, 2-on-2 for Sherlock and McCrickard, but they're not giving it as of yet. But Eire Og very, very impressive so far defensively.
Yeah, and I suppose it's fairly obvious that Eire Og recognise the threat of Maguire in the middle of the field, because anytime he gets the ball, there's generally 2 or 3 Eire Og fellas around him, because they see him as the guy that's going to break the line, and if they can stop that, then I think they can limit the Bears significantly.
One of the most experienced players in this Eire Og team, Dermot O'Hurley, showing a good clean pair of heels, offloading the ball to Diarmuid Dineen over on that far side of the field. Ball walked inside, and just the slightest of nudges from Reno Flynn conceding that free.
Yeah, to be fair, Scully had read that and was out in front, and just a little hand in the back forced the turnover. But again, Eire Og, very good play there, coming out of defence. It was Bjuggy there, Dermot Hurley breaking up the pitch. Very, very patient Eire Og generally, but putting massive pressure now on the Bars, trying to force a turnover.
Took a tackle, and it's an Eire Og line ball. Jamie Burns knocking that ball out over the sideline, and the line ball taken quickly, but again the bounce the ball, just beating Joe Cooper on this occasion, and gives the Bears a chance to relieve pressure. Adam Lyne working it back to Alan O'Connor, to Maguire, and Maguire finding space and seeing his wing back over that far side. Colin Lyons bursting into Eire Og territory once again. Long ball from outside the 45, looking for McCrickard inside. Mark him by McCrickard. That's not the first time he's done that in this championship. 16 yards out, and a simple enough opportunity for the man from County Down stepping up into this one, and McCrickard converting that mark, and that is the closure of the first quarter as we stop the clock after 17 and a half minutes. Eire Og leading 7 points to 3.
Yeah, look, great crossfield ball there, leading to a good catch by Crickard and over the bar. It's been fierce exciting, very good open football. There's still 4 points in it, but again, as I said, the Bears will certainly come. Eire Og still, need to keep pushing away and keep getting the scores on the board, try and get a bit more distance between them.
Yeah, again, look, I don't think you'll see any panic from the Bears here. Experienced side. To be fair, this year in the round robin, they played ourselves and Illan Rovers and Clonakilty, very disjointed for them. A huge amount of injuries. I think in the Illan Rovers game alone, I think they lost 3 players in the first half. So a couple of knocks tonight. So they're a bit all over the place. Brian Hayes not getting much ball at centre forward. John Cooper is staying tight to him. Against Castlehaven, John Cooper was needed to go back and try and quieten Brian Hurley. He's a better player at half back. He's very important to Eire Og breaking forward. So Eire Og will be delighted with that. He's quietening Hayes, and as Conor said, Maguire isn't getting much change in terms of bursting forward. But look, there's no panic there from them yet. They'll wait and try and pick their holes. And
I think the kickouts are a very big story so far in this first quarter. John Curran's under pressure from a Bears point of view, not getting too many options. Compared to an Eire Og's point of view, Chris Kelly easily finding Ronan O'Toole and Joe Cooper.
Yeah, but the Bears tend not to have a massive kick-out strategy. They tend not to go short unless you have absolutely gifts them. They have huge men out in the middle, and so they tend to kick it long and just back themselves to win the percentages. Whereas I know with Chris Kelly, Eire Og have done a lot of work on the kick-outs. You can see there's movement, and they're looking to hit pockets, and they're being quite successful. So I'm surprised Bears haven't won more of their own kickouts, because, as I said, Commons and Maguire tend to dominate normally. Again, only 17 minutes gone. There's a huge quarter now for the Bears just to get this close, get this back to even or even in ahead for Eire Og. If they can keep any bit of a gap here now, they'll be going in on a real high at half time.
So we're about to get this second quarter underway here under the lights here on Park Equive. This is quarter final B on the draw, as we showed you beforehand. The winners of this game will be playing more than likely Clonakilty and Duhallow, but we'll confirm that for you on Sunday evening. Risky pass there, but getting away with it there. And Jack Murphy now breaking forward. seeing space inside. Murphy looking for the runner to come across. Oh, Colm O'Callaghan. Well, that's a barging call. Colm O'Callaghan taking the man out.
I don't know, you might look different on camera. I thought it was harsh. He just collected the ball and ploughed into your man. I'm not sure if he had any chance to sidestep or anything, but on that kick out again, very interesting. Chris Kelly had 2 on short on the D, but he opted to ignore them and went long to the pocket to find his man. So they definitely don't want to go short. They want to get the ball out to the middle.
Great tussle here between O'Toole and Maguire. Maguire eventually fouled by Dermot O'Hurley. That's going to be an intriguing battle between the two number 8s.
Yeah, I suppose, look, I'm reflecting on both of the frees there now, and Eire will probably consider themselves unlucky that both of them went against him. But clearly the Bears counter there with 4 men on the ball, attacking, two Eire defenders. Well, interesting to watch during the game there. The condition of the pitch is very good. The bounce of the ball is hopping very high, and a number of players have been caught at different occasions from it. You don't get a second chance. The ball is playing very fast.
Chance here for Stephen Sherlock stepping into this one for the first time this evening, and he gets his account up and running for the evening.
Yeah, again, like when you're playing the Bears, Sherlock is the man you watch, and he's getting very little change off Mullins inside there. Again, massive Eire pressure. Dermot Hurley's on free there, easy for the cornerback ball. He's ignoring him again, and he's going to pay the price here because Dennis O'Brien has intercepted this one. Chris
Kelly has kicked out that ball to Dennis O'Brien, as Paddy says. Here's Maguire. Offloading back inside now to Colin Lyons, who recycles inside the middle of the field to Adam Lyon. Runner rocking his way inside here. Lyon didn't think about it. Out to Sherlock, playing deep outside the 45-metre line. Finds Lyon on the loop inside. Stays in it. Oh, that's a great block. That is brilliant defending from Jack Murphy. Yeah, you can see there maybe Sherlock has drifted out to outside the 45 for that last attack, maybe getting frustrated at the lack of ball. Again, that was it John Cooper with the block. It was telegraphed. He had a good couple of seconds to line up. The dummy was on if he'd seen it, but great block. But again, there on that kick out, Chris Kelly is blatantly ignoring a couple of short options. He doesn't seem to be being lambasted by his teammates either. So it's obviously a plan that they're trying to go further and hit the pockets. But Dennis O'Brien cut that last one out. So I think if you see that happening once more, you'll start to see Eire going short for the easy one. So Sherlock just getting his first score from a free while ago. A chance now to tack on a score from a 45 to coincide with Daniel Goulding and what he done in the 7th and 14th minute. Chance to reduce the margin out to 2. Well, he says, Daniel, if you can do one thing, pal, I'll go and match you and maybe beat you again.
Yeah, look, I think both of these players are going to have a major role to play tonight, and to date they've been faultless. Paddy's watching the kick out, and Paddy's got it right this time. They've gone short, but I must say O'Brien's kick out or Chris Kelly's kick out have been very good. In general, the last one probably went wrong, but it gives them an awful lot of options around the middle of the field in terms of picking out players.
Brian Hayes being pinned on that occasion for a pull of the jersey as the Eire now trying to work it through the channels. Maguire getting a hand in there on Jack Murphy, and referee is pinning the Eire man for touching it on the ground on that occasion, and the Dennehy taking the quick one, seeing Stephen Sherlock playing quite deep out towards centre field. And you can see players slipping around this evening, but that ball is standing to real attention. It has been an entertaining opening half in this Bon Secours Premier Senior Football Championship. Maguire walking the ball inside to Adam Lyon. Here's Brian Hayes now. Maguire's inside him. Hayes was dispossessed though, and a chance for Eire to break out of the defence. It was Colm O'Callaghan who laid the tackle on that occasion. And a chance now as Michael Corkery works that ball over towards the far side, looking for the 1-2. Great hands from Corkery to beat Enda Dennehy to kick on that occasion. Work back inside to Diarmuid Dineen as Eire now looking to try and invite players forward. Ronan O'Toole, well, he's just going to get away from possession, gets a boot to it and is dispossessed. And it's a chance here for the Bears just to try and work the hands. In Paul O'Keefe is urging his players forward at an enormous rate. Players falling left and right. It's a chance here for Cullen Barrett now from the 65-metre line. That's a loose pass out by Barrett there. Didn't work at that occasion. Here's Conor McGoldrick offloading outside to Joe Cooper. Cooper seeing the runner inside. This is his brother John Cooper. Pops the ball inside back to Dylan Foley now, looking to try and settle things back down. Spraying the ball over towards that far side of the field. Possibility of changing hands on that occasion. That's a barge to the back on that occasion there by Colm Scully. A sloppy free to give away, and an easy opportunity here for Daniel Goulding to extend the margin back out to 3.
Yeah, that's a welcome free for Eire Og there, because again, while they're being patient, they're probably going nowhere, and the game was tightening on them. It's on the edge of a fairly routine one for Dan, I'd imagine. But the last 3 or 4 turnovers there, all from maybe ball just not coming up off the side, it bounces kind of skidding away from them and touching off the ground. But it was down to 2 there without Bars playing particularly well. Even the last few minutes, they got it back to 2. That's what they tend to do. They just tend to nip away at you. Dan opens it back up to 3, and a big 5-10 minutes ahead here now for Eire Og to keep this gap.
Goulding has stopped the rot. Bars have scored the last 4 points before that score, as Dermot O'Hurley getting a good fist to that one, unchallenged, and Daniel Goulding stopped it from going out of play. Ronan O'Toole offloading inside to Colm O'Callaghan. Runners inside left and right. Which way is this one going? Oh, good touch there by Brian Hayes. That just stopped the opportunity of a possible goal. A good defence here from the Bars.
That's a massive work there from Brian Hayes. He tracked John Cooper all the way, and John Cooper's got a fierce engine on him, fierce burst. But to be fair to Hayes, off the ball, he made a very, very hard run and got that interception in. If Bars going to score off this, it'll be down to Hayes' great work in defence.
Bars going into overdrive here. Sherlock turning on the left-hand side. That's just going to creep outside of the far upright. And that, as Paddy said, could have been a massive score in the game.
Yeah, no, I think that interception by Brian Hayes was I think it was a goal definitely on had he not got it. Made a real run and started a long way behind, but got to it, and a lucky break for the Bears maybe.
As this kick out from Chris Kelly goes short, on this occasion Michael Corkery sending it over towards that far side of the field. Player slipping all over the shop, but I must reiterate, great work by the ground staff here on Páirc Uí Chaoimh to have the pitch in such fabulous condition here after all the rain we got at Lee side during the week. Michael Corkery just offloading that ball back outside as Ronan O'Toole plays it down towards this near side. Here's Conor McGoldrick now. Dermot O'Hurley, he made a long run up the line. Ball's walked back inside to Jack Murphy. The other side leading by 3. We're inside the final 5 minutes of the opening 30 regulation. Ronan O'Toole did very well to keep composure there. Conor McGoldrick down to Michael Corkery, just walking it up towards the halfway line once again, and Eire Og are happy enough just to play patient football so far. Good pass inside from Daniel Goulding, walking the ball inside towards Dylan O'Flynn, or Dylan Foley I should say. Foley under pressure, good tackling from the Bars point of view. Foley does well to play the ball. Great tackling there from Alan O'Connor. That's a high tackle there on that occasion though on Joe Cooper. Free in for Eire Og.
Yeah, great defending there originally from Alan O'Connor. He had Dylan Foley wrapped up and he won it back, but he just spilt it. And Eire Og picked up the free. A tough one for Daniel Goulding, but Eire Og are playing Colm O'Callaghan on the 45, and they're leaving a huge amount of space in front of him. But if he goes out of it and gets tracked by Jamie Burns, Eire Og gone short here now, so to go back to this.
Free taken quickly, looking for the better angle over on that far side of the field. And Jamie Burns just shepherding the Eire Og man off the ball and going out for a wide ball.
Sorry to go back to that. Eire Og are leaving Goulding inside. He's staying right on in front of the goal, whereas Dylan Foley and Reno Flynn are making the moves just behind Colm O'Callaghan. So they're very, very lively up there, and they will cause damage if they can get enough ball.
Great flick on there. Cuteness from Owen Commons. 2-man Bars line inside. Dennis O'Brien in possession. Finds one of those men in Conor McCrickard. Fell into the ball, slid into it. Good control from the down man. Dummy the pan. Oh, well, he dummied the kick, looking for Dennis O'Brien outside him. And that's been intercepted from an Eire Og point of view by Conor McGoldrick. Chance for Eire Og now to try and ply lines, but that was a risky pass back outside. As Ronan O'Toole looking to go through the lines. He's always got great pace as the former Cork midfielder. Turning back inside. Cross ball, across the 45 to Joe Cooper. Walking inside. Here's Daniel Goulding looking for a man in the corner. The stalwart to this team, Dermot O'Hurley. Walking back inside the 45-metre line. O'Hurley not seeing too many options, so he has to play the ball a couple of times to walk it across. Jack Murphy now in possession. Back outside to Dermot O'Hurley. The Bars press out just to try and close out that pressure around the house. Jack Murphy sees Freeman down this near side. Good running here from Michael Corkery. Has a proverbial acre of space in front of him. Good dummy from Jack Murphy. Great dummy again. Sold to Candy. Bought the sweets and saw the score. What a score, Jack Murphy.
Really, really good score. Took 2 players out of it. Dummy to the right. Came back. Kicked a great score with the left. That's the type of creativity you need to break down that defence.
Yeah, I think again, the Murphys have a bit of basketball history in Ballincollig. Not that we're claiming anything of them, but look, great hands, great show and go there. And Maguire with a huge win here now. Barrs badly need to score to get this close at half time.
Size was the winner on that occasion by Maguire when he beat O'Hurley. Saw Sherlock inside in the corner, crossed the face of goal. It's going that near far upright though. As we enter the final minute of regulation time, the margin back down to 3 points.
Yeah, I think Sherlock with the Bars, like you saw it last year in the semi-final against the Haven that went to penalties and stuff. He never stopped shooting. You know, he'll back himself the whole time. And for the Bars, it's just about getting the ball. Surprisingly, Eire still leaving it 1-1. As good as John Mullins is, I'd say he wouldn't mind an extra back floating around him. But massive score from Sherlock there to bring it back to 3.
Really entertaining game so far, Conor, in this opening half as we enter the final minute.
Absolutely. Again, Chris Kelly pinging the kick out to the sideline there again. It gives you great options. You can build from the back when you can be guaranteed of winning your own kick out. So John Cooper now on the way forward here.
Cooper working up this near sideline. Risky ball towards the centre of the park. Great running there from Dylan Foley to get first out to it. Reno Flynn from outside the 45-metre line looking to the corner to see Daniel Goulding. Pushed out over the line by Sam Ryan. 1 minute of additional time being added on here at the end of this 30 minutes. Reno Flynn now. Long ball looking for man inside. Great catch inside there at the edge of the squares. An opportunity of a score possibly here from Dylan Flynn. Sees Daniel Goulding outside in space. Goulding turning back on the right. Just cut it across the face of goal and nips out left and wide.
Yeah, I think that was Colin O'Callaghan inside, won that ball. He was closed down, so did the right thing to pop it off to Dan, but a wide ball there. Again, very impressive stuff from Eire. They're 9-6 up and well deserving of their 3-point lead at the moment. Bars look a bit leggy there. You see Commons is coming off here now. I'd say he's under pressure. Presuming they'll bring someone in maybe and put Hayes back into the middle of the field because they're not getting much joy. I think it's Owen McGreevy who would normally start or would have started in the last couple of years. Will probably go play around the centre forward and Hayes will join Maguire around midfield, which won't strengthen or which won't weaken the Bars because McCreevy's an excellent player, excellent forward, very lively, and Hayes is well used to playing midfield.
So substitute confirmed. Owen Commons is gone. Owen McGreevy straight going in. Roaming around inside the 2 forwards inside the full forward line as Dennis O'Brien winning that kick out. That minute has elapsed, but obviously going to be a bit of added time as Maguire sees himself in space inside the 65, plays it to his midfield partner Brian Hayes. Hayes scoops the ball forward. Could be a big score coming here. Colin Barron looking for a score. He's got himself on the score sheet for the first time this evening, and the margin reduced to 2 points.
Yeah, good score there. Eire just a bit disjointed after the Bars changed there. There was Maguire and Hayes both had a bit of a gallop on. Good score. You see again Dennis O'Brien, number 10, is their option on the kickouts in the far wing. That's his second or third kickout. He's won clean.
So half time here in Páirc Uí Rinn. 9 points Eire, 7 points St Finbarr. It's been quite an entertaining opening 30 minutes here, Conor Counihan.
Yeah, look, I think Eire have been the better team in that first half, but again, they've just 2 points to show for it, which is probably a bit disappointing given the amount of play that they had. Again, Owen Cummins coming off for the Bears, certainly, he's a big loss. He's a big man around the middle of the field. He's having a horrific 12 months there with injuries and that sort of thing. So, look, very devastating for him personally. But, I think Eire will be happy at the same time. They've, any people that had any illusions that they wouldn't stand up to the challenge, and if there was any lack of self-belief, I think at this stage now they're saying to themselves, listen, lads, this can be done. Just keep the head down and keep doing the same things. And, I'm sure Paddy Cassan and Harry O'Reilly will be very happy. Sure
will indeed. And from an Eire point of view, they've had, 5 different scores in this game. They had 13 different scores coming into this championship. And they got some electrifying scores in that opening quarter.
Yeah, again, maybe the most impressive thing about what they're doing is their athleticism. They're matching the Bars in terms of their running power. They look very well coached. Again, they're coming out against the Bars. The last thing you want to do is too many numbers around the middle because they'll just swarm you and swallow you up and turn you over. the Eire Og lads are coming, the cornerbacks, wing backs, they're hugging the sideline here in front of us on the far side, and it's creating a pocket of space inside for runners to come through for Eire Og. 9 points in the first half against the Bears. Eire Og will be delighted with that. They probably had a couple more. They could have been, you could argue, they could be 4 or 5 ahead. But again, they'd have taken the start of the game. But again, the Bears, an experienced team here, the third quarter now, I'd be surprised if the Bears don't come out and really tear into Eire Og, because one of the things you'd associate with the Bears is a fierce, aggressive nature. They're in your face. They don't seem to be that at the moment. Eire Og are very comfortable playing the ball around the middle. Still, we haven't seen McCrickard inside, the new lad from down, click really with Sherlock. McCrickard showing well, but not a huge amount has come off it a few times there. He hasn't quite connected with his teammates. That's down to only being probably down in Cork for a month or so. But
would you give that credit probably to the Eire Og defence, who have stopped the Bears' attack a lot in the middle of the field and not allowing them to get over that halfway line?
Oh yeah, that middle trio, I suppose, John Cooper, Ronan O'Toole and Jack Murphy, they're not allowing the overlap to come there from Maguire, Hayes and Commons before he went off. So they're stopping the Bears very, very well there. I haven't seen Colin Lyons' house come forward at all from number 5 for the Bears. He's normally very, very dangerous. So Eire Og are doing everything you could possibly ask them. They're stopping the Bears. And as I said, the Bears are a running team. They tend not to kick massive amount of ball in. They beat you with their running power and creating the overlap. So very, very impressive for Eire Og so far. But again, it's a long half hour ahead of them. Time will tell whether they have it in the legs and the physicality, because I mean, I'm sure they are feeling this as a step up from even the group stage, in particular from the last couple of years at maybe Senior A or Premier Intermediate.
And I suppose, Conor, like, fitness isn't going to be a problem for Eire Og, because they went toe to toe with De Haven that day down in Enniskeane. You were there yourself watching it in the banks. Fitness won't be an issue here in this game.
No, I don't think so. But I think what's going to be key here now is the bench. Who has got the stronger bench? And we're looking at players that didn't start. Did they not start because of injury? And if that is the case, then they're not going to be eligible to come in. Whereas, if I was looking at the bench, I'd be happier from a Bears perspective that maybe they have more to offer coming off the bench. You're looking there at Reno Flynn, who was a very good substitute against Castlehaven. That option is now gone. How much strength and depth. The other thing, I suppose, from an Eire Og point of view, I would like to see Colin O'Callaghan isolated 1-to-1, because I do believe that he has the potential to either get past his man or create fouls and that sort of thing. So it's going to be small margins. Bears need to get in control in the middle of the field a bit. I think Ronan O'Toole and Jack Murphy have been very well supported there by the Cooper brothers and breaking ball and that sort of thing. So yeah, Bears need to lift it a gear, but the fact that Eire Og have played most of the football and still only 2 points ahead, a bit disappointing. I think a goal will be crucial for either side as well.
Yeah, it would be a massive score. So, are you saying, if you were Harry O'Reilly, in Harry O'Reilly's shoes here, are you bringing Daniel Goulding out of small bit and putting Colin McCallum in at the edge of the square, or are you happy enough just to leave him roam around that 45?
Jeez, I'd say Daniel would have a shock if I brought him beyond the 45.
He's going so well. He's going very well so far, around the 45.
Yeah, no, he's doing fine. But look, I suppose if they can open up the space in front of Colm there. Now, the Bears are obviously trying to block up that middle. Now, maybe Colm needs to move around a bit, left and right of him to try and lose a few of these fellas. But no, look, I think Daniel has to stay inside. But I think inside, Reno Flynn and Dylan Foley are very mobile. They're there for the long ball option. Daniel is around, they pick up something on the loop and try and pop it over. But it's a very similar story at the other side, where Stephen Sherlock is showing for a lot of ball when he gets it and has the capacity to kick some great scores. So it's very much like for like, so it's going to be something small that would tilt this.
I suppose the score of the half so far in the 29th minute, the score from Jack Murphy to make it 9 points to 6, 9 points to 5 it was at that stage, to dummy right and then dummy right for a second time and kick it over off the left. It's a great skill of a player and great confidence to do what he did.
Yeah, look, he's an excellent player. Cork 20s a couple of years ago. His younger brother Hugh was on the bench there, was a Cork minor as well, I think. Look, Eire Og have got a lot of football and talent coming through. You can see it even there from the team, who's been in with Cork, either played league or championship or trained them. I see Chris Kelly, John Mullins. I know McGoldrick was the 20s. John Cooper was in with Cork, I think, in the summer last year. Ronan O'Toole has game time with Cork. Colin O'Callaghan, Hallisey would have been around a decade ago or so. Goulding. So look, there's a lot of good football talent in Eire Og. So look, they're a coming team. As I said, I think they've about 11 or 12 who start both. So it's a massive credit to them that they've got this far. I know they're out of the hurling now, but Again, will the legs be able for this? Because again, while it might look at from on, the Bars are a very intense team to play against. They really do run you. So their physicality, I'd expect Maguire to, well, he's having a decent game. I expect him to start upping it a few notches here, because he's a very, very hard fella to quieten for the full 60 minutes. One lapse and he'll break through and create the overlap for a goal. And as Conor said, a goal here will be crucial. If the Bars can get it and get a run in Eire Og, it'll be very difficult to stop.
And I suppose from a Bars point of view at the bench, I suppose you're looking towards the likes of Michael Shields, Ethan Toomey to be coming in and making a difference in the centre of the field.
Yeah, I suppose from the Bars point of view, they have the forwards on the pitch. If you look at McCreevy's on now, Sherlock's on, Barrett, I suppose Myers Murray, to come on, McCrickard's still there. So they probably have 3 or 4 scoring forwards. They do seem to be playing a bit isolated, Sherlock and McCrickard inside. Everyone else is drifting fairly far back. On the other side, Sam Ryan is picking up Daniel Goulding. He's staying right in on the square, while Dylan Foley and Reno Flynn float. So both teams are playing very, very similar. There isn't a huge amount of long kick passing in. It's very safe, very controlled. I think the modern game, it's all about keeping turnovers down and making sure you keep possession and just waiting for the opening. So you're seeing probably 2 fairly decent teams, very well coached. And again, it's a very, very even game. And for anyone who thought Eire Og weren't up to this level, like they proved it in the group stage, and they're proving again tonight.
Sure are indeed, and as I've mentioned there on the crest of the wave, Conor, just to again touch on the 2 quarterfinals on Sundays. We wait for teams to come out. I suppose the first game, the Haven and Valley Rovers. You mentioned at the top, Castlehaven, one of the favourites for the competition, but of course Valley's beat the favourites for the competition in the opening round of the round robin in Nemo Rangers.
Yeah, and Valleys, I think, will set up, I'd say, defensively on this. Castlehaven would like it open, and particularly with the 2 hurlers inside. And if they can stem the tide, as Eire Og did for large parts of it, particularly when they put John Cooper back in the full back line against Castlehaven, it limited them a fair degree. But I suppose at the end of the day, Castlehaven now have a free run. I think the Callans will be available to them now full time because of the Bars being out of the hurling, and that's going to be a big thing. But again, it would be all about attitude. The Valleys were very unlucky again last year against, I think it was at Duhala. So they're no flash in the pan. They've a good side. They're well organised. So I think yes, Castlehaven, but don't take it for granted.
And I suppose the second game then, very much an interesting game, as Duhala, who have to go without their knock degree players this year because of knock degree playing senior A football. Of course, they did defeat UCC in that divisional final, but Clonakilty have got a couple of inter-county players among their own panel.
Yeah, but I suppose typically divisional teams will improve as the year goes on, and I think I'd expect to see a good improvement from Duhala. I suppose Clonakilty, probably fairly comprehensively beaten by the Bears, which that's a bit of a worry for them. They have a few injuries, throughout the championship year, and they really need to get all their players on the field. If they get all their players on the field, yeah, they'd have a good chance. But if they don't, I think Duhala could get through that one.
So the Bears are out in the field. Paddy, no changes here as we wait for Eire Og. Do you still see the Bears having enough firepower to get over the line in this quarter-final?
On the evidence of the first half, you'd back Eire Og, but at the same time, having seen a lot of the Bars in recent years and a bit of Eire Og, I would still think the Bars tend to turn it up a small in the second half. They won't be panicking here. 2 points down, having not really clicked, they'll be fairly okay with this. Eire Og, again, we said at the start of the first half, the start was crucial. Eire Og did get a good solid start to give them confidence, because if you chase the game against the Bars, they'll pick holes in you. But look, it's the makings of a very good half. I think Eire Og have to keep going at the Bars, keep playing it sensibly, but going at them, because you sit at the Bars, sit back against the Bars, and they'll eventually wear you down. So look, it's makings of a very interesting second half here. I think with Nemo gone, I think everyone fancies their chances from here on in. So while I would have had the Bars as favourites, they're under serious pressure here unless they up it big time.
So it looks like no changes for either side at the start of this second half. Of course, the one change in that opening half was Owen Commons gone towards the latter stages, and Owen McGreevy came in, seems to be lining out, well, starting a corner forward, but it looks like he's going to be coming on a halfway line as we get this second half underway in the Bon Secures Premier Senior Football Championship quarter final here on Páirc Uí Chaoimh, live on the Irish Examiner. First of 3 games this weekend here as Brian Hayes starts off proceedings in this second half. Working inside to Enda Dennehy. Ball back outside out towards Jamie Burns. You can see already the Bears pressing on already in the opening stages. Maguire working through the lines over towards Adam Lyne. Ball over towards that far side to McGreevy. In fact, it was Colin Barrett, in fact, as Maguire brings it across the 45 to Stephen Sherlock. And Sherlock offloading this. And Sherlock with a super start for the Toker Bay side.
Yeah, and look, that's what the Bears are all about. There was a chance there for a shot for one of the Bears fellas. I think it was Colin Barrett inside, but again, he was sensibly just waiting. Maguire was just looking for Sherlock hovering around, and great score under pressure. And a savage kick out again from Chris Kelly to get Eire out of the press.
Chris Kelly finding his man over on that far side of the field. Here's Rian O'Flynn walking over the halfway line. Dangerous ball going inside, looking for the mark. Snaffle there in the pocket there by Foley. Pops the ball outside. As Eire now just looking to try and settle it back down. It's Joe Cooper. Good patience and confidence on the ball. Side to Colm O'Callaghan as Eire now start to flood players forward. Full 12 on 12 in the half of the field. As Jack Murphy under pressure turns over the ball, and Colin Barrett fouled in the centre of the field. Brian Hayes now looking to try and take the quick one. No runners for Brian Hayes. He's the roar at his fellow man beside him, Adam Lyne, to get into position. Colin Barrett working the ball in towards the full forward line. Here is Sherlock getting that late score from play, looking for his second in a matter of minutes. Super start from Stephen Sherlock and the Bears.
Yeah, a few warning signs there definitely for Eire. Sherlock getting a lot of space inside there. You know, you're going to have to tie him down. Again, you know, a turnover there in the middle field. Jack Murphy got turned over with the ball when, you know, Eire had possession and should have been driving forward. But look, we're down to a level game now.
Level game for the first time since the 4th minute, as Eire win the kick out once again. Dermot O'Hurley playing the ball in towards the centre of the park. Ball worked inside by Diarmuid Dineen. Risky pass, and that gave a chance to Maguire to get his hands on it. He got a hand on it, and an advantage coming. No advantage accruing, says Conor Lane. Free taken quickly by Adam Lyne as the Bears look to try and turn that turnover into attack fairly quickly. Not a ropey pass there on that occasion by Adam Lyne. Colm Scully did very, very well. Offloads the ball down towards the near sideline. Switch the play to Colin Lyons. Mentioned at half time by Patrick Kelly. Needs to be getting on more possession. Brian Hayes settling the feet. Ball going in. Oh, just gone out, and Chris Kelly knocks it out over the sideline, right on the edge of the post. Gone out for a 45.
Yeah, good goalkeeping there, to be fair. It was landing just underneath the crossbar with a fella coming in to challenge him. So putting out for 45 is a decent outcome. Massive turnover there from Maguire. Eire could pop the ball in. You could see Maguire lining up his man, just waiting for him to just get a bit of contact, and a turnover. Again, within the space of 3 or 4 minutes, Bears have gone level, and again, Sherlock well capable of putting them in front. I'm not sure is this to put them in front for the first time in the game, but that will be a big psychological boost to them, because they, even looking at the kickouts, they look a bit more organised on the Eire kickouts. They look as though they maybe have sussed what they're at. So it'll be interesting to see how that develops in the second half.
Well, Sherlock is after using a nice bit of time here. He's going to have to try and rush this 45. He rushed it so well, it's gone between the uprights, and that's the first time in this game, in the 35th minute, the Bears take the lead.
Yeah, look, it's going to be interesting. This is the test of Eire in terms of how they respond to this. They've been able to get away their kickouts. They've got the ball out around the middle field, but have been a bit ponderous around the middle of the field. Now, maybe that's a lack of movement from the inside line, but here we go again.
Sherlock's 6th point from this game, 3rd point from place ball. 2 of those coming the way of 45s. 121 accumulated at the Championship 2021. Dermot O'Hurley plays the ball over towards that far side, going on the 1-2, looking to take on Maguire, and Hurley doing very well, but also as Maguire, to be fair to him, Hurley with composure pops the ball back outside. Diarmuid Dineen shows great pace already in this game. Colm O'Callaghan offloading the ball outside. Jack Murphy dummies the ball back inside. Under pressure now is Rian O'Flynn, looking to try and take the shot on. Rian O'Flynn going in for the shot. Rian O'Flynn going for the score, and the umpire goes for the white flag.
A great score there. He was under savage pressure. He got out of contact. Very good score from Eire there. Worked again from a short kick out. Massive score. You could see there Jack Murphy the chance, but elected to pop it off. And Eire was squeezing right up again on the Bears kick, which will go long here down to Brian Hayes and Dennis O'Brien.
Kick out from Currans down towards the near side. Ball touched out. That ball out over the sideline. Our Douglas official, Conor Counihan, says the Bears kicked that ball out. Touched here by, well, there's a collision here on the side.
Interesting to watch at the other end of the field, John. Well, no, it seems only temporary now, but I thought John Cooper was picking up Sherlock there for a while, but no, he's changed now again. So, yeah, interesting what the umpires will make of this. You'd be wondering as to whether the corner forward created the free to get to, or whether it was the corner back.
Well, these 4 umpires have been part of Conor Lane for many years now. Conor has a very strong panel indeed of umpires who have refereed in many All-Irelands down through the years. And I think the umpires the other side of the field are just having a look to see did anything happen. Concerns here with Colm Scully, who's just being attended to by the Bears medical staff in Bill O'Connell.
Yeah, it's hard to know with those things off the ball. You know, as a forward, you make a move, back pulls you. Sometimes you try and make the contact first and try and buy something. But Scully's going well there, number 4 for the Bears, going well. But he does look genuinely injured. The shoulder there is getting a bit of work on. But Bears be happy enough with that, calling that up, because they were fairly open there at the back, having lost the kick out to the sideline. So this they've got big numbers behind the ball here now, and we'll look to try and turn Eire back.
Technically, Dr. Paul O'Keefe could actually go in here as Bannister stroke medic, couldn't he?
Yeah, he was coming off for the hurling games, all right. You saw him coming for the Bears hurling games. He would have been coming, but I'd say he's keeping his distance here now and letting someone else take care of the medical side of things.
Great servant to the St. Finbarr's club in Dr. Paul O'Keefe, the Bannister for the senior footballers. As there's a rush past there, a rush of blood to the head by Michael Corkery, put Ronan O'Toole under pressure. Here is Colm Scully. And referee says he's been pinned for a foul once again, and Colm Scully feeling the effects of that tackle. Happy enough to get up away with it.
Yeah, again, the free was, I felt from where I'd looked at here, I thought Ballincollig got around the man and turned them over quite fairly. But they're on the counter here now again.
Eire Og now looking to try and turn defence into attack. Reno Flynn looking to try and take Andy Dennehy on. He's burnt him on the outside. Turns the ball back inside. Looking for Jack Murphy, roaming outside. Daniel Goulding sees a man in space over towards that far side. Beautifully set ball for Dylan Flynn. Turns back in on the left hand side. Lost his footing. Gathered composure. But going to the right hand side and wide for the opening wide of the second half.
Yeah, and just watching Daniel Goulding off the ball there. Sam Ryan is one of those backs who he can completely ignore the play, and he'll just try and pin you as a man. He's a very, very tough man marker, one of the best in Cork, and he's been very, very tight on Daniel. He's getting very little ball and open play. Dennis O'Brien caught for a push in the back there. Harsh enough, I thought.
Dennis O'Brien getting pinned for the hands on the back. Free taken quickly. Well, there was hands all over there by Jamie Burns on the Eire Og man, on Jack Murphy. Murphy now under pressure here. Dennis O'Brien putting in a fairly labour tackle. Good play by Murphy though to walk it outside to Hallisey. Under pressure now, Foley done very well to evade 2 tackles, and he's been pinned for over carrying the ball. Harry O'Reilly absolutely livid with that decision.
That's great play from the Bears, to be fair. You could see when Jack Murphy tried to take Jamie Burns on, he was getting doubled up, was just kicked out. It was Brian Hayes he saw line him up and pinning him. Again, that's the thing at this level, as bodies get tired and minds get tired, you start to maybe do things you shouldn't do and take extra chances that you can't afford. And Bears are the best team probably in Cork at forcing turnovers, and they're just turning the screw a small bit here now.
Bears now winning 2 frees inside their own 65-metre line as Adam Lyne works that ball inside to Brian Hayes now, and Eire Og applying a lot of pressure as we come to the end of the 10th minute of this second half here in Páirc Uí Chaoimh. Live coverage of this Bon Secures Premier Senior Football Championship quarter final. The Bears now flooding numbers forward as Alan O'Connor works outside to Colin Barrett as they seek to retake the lead. Defender slipping over on that far side of the field. Here is Barrett once again settling his feet off the left peg. Going to land short though, and Chris Kelly with a safe pair of hands there to pick up the possession once again.
Yeah, Eire Og now need to keep possession, and that's a great ball from Hallisey down to Goulding. Whoa. That could be a late tackle there. He's got away with.
Referee's going to leave play, continue on, and Dennis O'Brien in possession. But O'Brien wasted that opportunity, Conor.
I think Eire will probably feel that justice was done there. I think there was a late tackle on Goulding. Barr's now introducing 2 subs into the game.
Billy Hennessy and Cian Walsh are coming in. And Cian Walsh has been replacing Dennis O'Brien. And Colm Scully is going to be replacing Billy Hennessy, I should say, is replacing Colm Scully here, Paddy.
Yeah, Cian Walsh would tend to play around the wing forward. Very busy player, would get up and down the pitch. Billy Hennessy's gone back in, I'd say. Scully must have hurt the shoulder there in the last 5 minutes. He went down a few times, so a couple of very decent and experienced subs to bring in for the Bars, as Hayes wins a big one here and charges forward.
Brian Hayes winning a free. Heavy hit there on Ian Maguire. Conor, you're shaking your head here beside me.
I am. I thought it was a kind of 50-50 ball. Ian did his usual thing, head down and driving forward, but difficult enough call now. I'd been disappointed, maybe a bit old school on that, but and he's receiving a booking now as well to add to that, which doesn't help.
And here is the introduction of Dr. Paul O'Keefe.
Yeah, no, it's look, this is a good chance for Sherlock to put the Bears back in the lead. Rogue really need to get possession on and hold it together, keep the ball and get a score on the board, because certainly the Bears are looking that bit sharper here now in the second half.
So a chance now for Sherlock to get his 7th point of the game. It would be his 4th from place ball if he were to convert it. Stepping to the de-exclusion zone. Looked like he goes over the mark perfectly fine and executes the score perfectly at the end of the 42nd minute.
Yeah, I think Paul O'Keefe was in that time, not as much in the medical constituency, but he was in, had a few words with Colin Lane as well. Look, the Bars are turning the screw here big time. I think Eire need to just hang in there, get to the water break, still a point down or level. If the Bars get ahead at all, they'll be very difficult to pin back in the final quarter.
Another beautifully executed kick out from Chris Kelly over towards that far side, finding Hallisey. Ball walked away long inside. Eire now, well, they're being bottled up, but Deneen out in space with possession. One would ask, is it time to bring on fresh legs for Eire momentarily? Is Dermot O'Leary? Well, he won't need to be replaced because he will put the body on the line. Finds a great run inside here from John Cooper. Oh, it's a heavy hit. That's a heavy hit here from Brian Hayes, and there's players flooding in here from everywhere. And Dermot O'Leary did not need to do that.
Again, I have a different perspective. I'm back from it a good bit, but I didn't see a whole pile wrong with that hit. And, I thought it was shoulder to shoulder. I'd like to see the video replay of it.
I would say, to be fair, I think Hayes went to mill him, and it definitely looked as though he caught him on the jaw. Now, I was guilty of one of that myself a few weeks ago in Scotland. They're one of those where you go to mill him, and if you're a split second off or a tiny bit high, it's a desperate looking one. Interesting there, Dermot Hurley went in and pushed over by Hayes. Hayes probably knows he's in trouble, and I'm not saying he's milky, but definitely maybe just to distract from the earlier tackle. But I'd be surprised if he doesn't get red here, just from the reaction, everything from the players.
Well, the replays are showing us that it's caught in the face.
Yeah, I think this could be a huge moment in the game now, because you were starting to think the Bars were getting the upper hand. If they go down to 14 men here, this is a huge flip for Eire.
And Conor Lane has been in this situation already this year at a higher level. It's a difficult decision for a referee. It's a split in time. I honestly thought that that it was fair enough, but maybe looking at it now in video, maybe there's a case to be answered for.
Well, Brian Hayes is going to be spoken to here, and again, Conor, as you say, it's a split-second decision. We do have the advantage of a replay here, but Brian Hayes undoubtedly is in trouble here. It's a matter of what colour is the card, and it's a straight red card. And I don't think here, Patrick, anybody could fault it, and I think Dermot O'Hurley is the man who's going to be in trouble here.
Yeah, this is similar to the Donny Vaughan for Mayo against Dublin a few years back. There was a sending off for Dublin, and Donny Vaughan got stuck in. He looks like he's got the wrong man, I'd say there, as he got Ronan O'Toole. It's Biogi, number 2 for Eire was the
Dermot O'Hurley,
the fellow who came in for a bit of shoving. To be fair to Hayes, like, it's one of those ones where you see a ball popped and you're lining him up and you think you're going to mill your man with a fair shoulder. He was just slightly off. It probably looks terrible, and is he giving away a hot ball? No, he's sticking to the free to Eire. Huge play here now, because he might call up for the water break now. We're on 45 minutes. If Daniel can split the post here now, get level, going into the last quarter, a man up, all of a sudden now this is a very, very interesting game with the Bars, who for me would be favourites of the county now, under savage pressure.
Just go through that instant in a moment. As Goulding now looking to level up this game. Bars reduced to 14 men. Goulding beautifully struck. Creeps over the near upright. Over the crossbar goes in the 46th minute. I think the free stood, Conor, because it was a foul play by Brian Hayes, and because of the push, the Bars are absolutely livid with the yellow card. But I think it is the right call, because it was just a push as a third man tackle.
Yeah, interesting though, 14 men. It doesn't always work out as straightforward as that, and I think, both sides will be happy to hear the water break whistle coming and get themselves organised now. And look, it's advantage Eire at this point, but you still have got to see this game out. And look, Bars will never go down without a fight. I
think, Conor, is it fair to say the decision is a right call, the right card for an elbow across the face?
Look, I'll be perfectly honest. Looking at it from where I was looking initially, I thought it was a harsh decision. I don't think there was any malice, but looking at it in the video after, look, I would say, he did connect close to the face and that sort of thing. Not intentional, but look, you have to control it. I've often been found guilty of that myself from time to time, but you sometimes pay the price.
The Bars now down to 14, but you can't rule them out, Patrick. We saw what happened here last Sunday when Glen Rovers reduced to 14 men after 23 minutes. They came out and showed the real true spirit of the Glen, and the Talker side are really going to have to do that here again.
Yeah, look, I wouldn't be surprised now to see the Bars sit back right into their 45 and try to just invite Eire on and turn them over and break. Look, again, they won't panic. They're a seasoned team. Plenty of leaders there. You can see Maguire down there talking to the group. For Eire now, it's about doing the basics. Not giving sloppy turnovers, just keeping the width, staying patient. This last quarter mightn't be for the purists. I don't see too much kicking here. I think it'll be all about for Eire patience. Kind of that terrible phase, going through the phases and things like that. But look, if you're a betting man, you'd say Eire from here on in. But as Conor said, the Bars, savage spirit in the club. This team, great spirit in this team as well. So look, a very, very difficult one to call. Bars will be relying here on Stephen Sherlock now to step up big time. Any chance he can get to put over a few points. Like, you could see 2 or 3 points even win this game from here on in. It's been a low scoring game, so it should be a fascinating last 15.
So the clock's going to restart at the end of the 46th minute. The Bars getting a substitute ready in Luke Hannigan. As we see John Kearns now. So the Bars reduced to 14 men for the remainder of this game.
Colin Barrett has slipped around the sideline there looking for a handy ball.
Well, he didn't go for him because he had confidence in Minnie Maguire to win it, and wins the free over on that far side of the field.
Yeah, and straight away from Eire's point of view, it looks like Michael Cork, number 17, has gone sat back on the D in front, and you can hear Patrick Mulcahy shouting at him to push further back again. Even the two dangermen there, McCrickard and Sherlock inside. I'd say McCrickar's been called ashore for Luke Hannigan, number 12, coming on.
It's a big decision, Paddy.
Yeah,
Luke Hannigan coming in from McCrickard.
Yeah, what you'll probably see here now is the Bars playing everyone besides Stephen Sherlock behind the ball, and when they have it, being patient, just slowly working forward, hoping Maguire can punch a hole, and if not, just get it close enough to Sherlock so he can come out and kick a score on the loop.
Chance now for McGreevy. Hasn't scored in this championship yet. Finds the captain Maguire in space, walking it back across the square, finds back outside McGreevy. McGreevy under pressure. McGreevy boots it right and wide from good defensive work from an Eire point of view.
Yeah, I think McGreevy was a bit rash there. I think Bears need to hold the ball and try and play around for a free. I think psychologically referees are under pressure at this stage. When you've sent the man off, you're expecting to get the next decision, so maybe they should play on that a bit.
As a referee, I'm not asking you as a referee, but like Conor Lane, as a multiple time referee in All Ireland, he would know what's right and what's wrong in the rule book.
He would, but look, we're all human, and as you said, Conor was vastly experienced, but that wouldn't stop guys trying to play on it.
Ball walked down to this near sideline too. Joe Cooper under pressure, good tackling from the Bars, and a chance for Colin Lyne to pick up the ball, and sees Jamie Burns running away with it, and the Bars aren't lying down here. Great ball worked inside to Stephen Sherlock. Now Sherlock 1-on-1, looking to try and take the lead once again. It's curling inside the near upright. He's going for the flag. It's a great lead score from Stephen Sherlock.
Yeah, massive score there. I think it was Alan O'Connor turned Joe Cooper over. Eire can't afford to do that. And again, Jamie Burns coming forward. There was no one inside the 45 besides Sherlock. He checked back inside his man, and Burns spotted him, to be fair, with a nice hand pass. But again, going back to that sending off, to be fair to the referee, he did check with the umpires, did check with the linesman, and he would have got the confirmation that it was red card was warranted.
Ball worked over towards the far side of the field. Foley, so the 20-metre line on that far side. Trying to work around the angles. There's a shot going in here. Hail Mary shot. Not going to go out of play in towards the edge of the square. Goulding kept it in from going out. Could have went anywhere, but it went into the hands of Alan O'Connor, who just passed it down, and Colin Barrett sees O'Connor go ahead of him. Not the greatest of passes from Colin Barrett though. And as the Eire man went down to get the ball, well, Alan O'Connor had a hand out to try and get the ball and accidentally caught the player, and he's going to be warned by our Bantier Lyre official.
You'd worry a small bit about Eire. I mean, there seems to be far more urgency coming from St. Finbarr. Sometimes you feel, look, with an extra man, it's going to happen for us. And psychologically, Bears are kind of saying, to hell with it, we're going to throw the kitchen sink at it now. Eire are going to have to, they're going to have to get the scores on the board.
It's the Bears, 14-man St. Finbarr is leading by a point. Poor ball from the free kick, and gives the Bears an opportunity to set up. Alan O'Connor now. Here's Maguire. He's going to cut for pace, but we did very well to evade 2-3 defenders. Brilliant from Maguire, and got through his shoulder as well. That's leadership at its best from Ian Maguire.
Yeah, look, he's been doing that for the Bears for the last number of years and does it with Cork the whole time. Look, when the chips are down, he intends to deliver, he tends to win hard ball, and there's no better man to carry a ball of defence than Ian. But again, they're poor from Eire. They had a free, and it was a poor kick. It didn't look as though there was any move made. For Eire, now this is huge, because I suppose for the last decade or even 2 decades, Daniel has got them over the line in big games. He's on one of the best there in Sam Ryan. Someone else, the likes of Colm O'Callaghan there, Jack Murphy, have just gone out of the game a small bit. They'll need to get a few big plays like Ian Maguire is doing for the Bears, and Stephen Sherlock. But again, to be fair to Eire, putting massive pressure on the Bears here, not letting them get anything easy.
John Mullins did very well on the tackle there. Bears getting away with it. Maguire just got a dainty little hand to knock it to Cian Walsh. He played at the Colin Lions, and Hannigan, the second half substitute, coming on while ago for McGreevy to end it. Denny as they walk it through the channels, turning it into pace. Sherlock got inside his marker, looking to try and take the lead out to 2 points, and covers the score.
Great score by Sherlock, but again, like, Eire seem more confused with the extra man than the Bears do. And, I think they just got to go man to man and identify that spare man and leave him be spare and not be chopping and changing, because this stage now, they're, 2 points behind. It's going to, Bears in a good situation now, just hold tight, leave him come at him and hit him on the counter.
Corkery winning the kick out short from Chris Kelly. Ball up the line, looking for the runner. Good tackle there from Dennehy, but John Cooper did very well to stay in from going out of play. Pops the ball on the cross, back to Dineen. And the question here is that man tripped? Well, it would be accidental, one would think, and it is probably just going to be a free and a chance for Daniel Goulding to reduce the deficit down to the minimum.
Yeah, that was, to be fair, that was a free. It was ended. Then he come across and clipped the ankles. It wasn't intentional, and he was under. It was Jeremy Dean coming forward for Eire. He was under pressure because I'd say he was going to be turned over by a double up. Eire just have to keep using the ball sensibly. They've given away a few cheap ones coming out in the last couple of minutes, which the Bears are making pay on the other end. That last score was brilliant play from the Bears. A kick pass into McGreevy on the 45, and again a simple drilled hand pass into Sherlock, who just turned his man.
Goulding taking this free straight over the red spark, and a chance here for the margin reduced down to 1 point in the 53rd minute as Brian Hurley of Eire gets introduced to the game. He's replacing Dylan Foley.
Yeah, I suppose Sticky Brian Hurley would start a nice bit of in and out there between himself and Reno Flynn, Dylan Foley. Lively forward, very busy, and again Eire putting a massive press on the kick out. They've got 3 men surrounding the 2 Bears boys around the middle of the field, looking to dominate them.
Daniel Goulding's 6th point of the game. Sherlock has got 9 to his tally. An entertaining game in this Bon Secours Premier Senior Football Championship. Tussle between the 2 number 8s, O'Toole and Maguire, and as the man wearing blue comes out on top, Hannigan pops the ball over towards that far side, and the Bears man went down to ground. There was a pullback there by Diarmuid Dineen. I think it was Diarmuid Denny, and if it is, he could be under pressure here.
You
Might be
Jack
Jack Murphy as well.
You can't underestimate the importance of Ian Maguire there. He was behind his man on that kick out, but still, look, his pure battling qualities managed to break the ball, and it was Keane Walsh, number 26, who won the break for the Bars. Worked it forward, sensible play, won the free. Stephen Sherlock again. Big score from Goulding there a minute ago, but Sherlock has kicked a few from this range already. Just to put it back up to 2 points, be a very, very important score.
Kevin Hallisey with the yellow card as the rain starts to fall here in Páirc Uí Chaoimh, south side of the Lee. And what has been a beautiful night here since around 6:30. Sherlock stepping into this free to stick the margin back out to 2 points and converse the score with 6 minutes left in the clock.
Yeah, look, a fierce important score there. Look, this is the Sherlock Goulding shootout here as such, and look, at this stage Sherlock's team seem to be in pole position. Difficult to see Eire getting 2 points. Might need a goal to win this match, and I wouldn't be beckoning on it.
Dermot O'Hurley now working the ball inside to
Just an open play here now. Bars have dropped everyone behind the ball besides Stephen Sherlock. Sherlock has drifted out to 65, but everyone else inside the Bars on 65 trying to swarm it up and just trying to suck Eire into a position like this where a man takes into contact and a forced turnover. Eire get lucky if they can bring the ball wide. They have the space out wide and the runners.
the fireworks start to kick off over in the city end of the ground. Maguire with a great tackle. That is brilliant from Maguire and McGreevy. Heavy hit on Sherlock. Play continues on. Referee stops it though. Ronan O'Toole getting pinned for a frontal tackle. And it's a free for the Bars.
Yeah, again, look, there's a lot wrong with the modern game. One of the big things, I suppose, is this whole idea of avoiding contact. Like, you try not to kick ball away or lose possession. Eire are becoming a bit guilty of it now at the moment. They're going into contact. Just letting this play here, the Bars a bit sloppy, but they've won it back again, and Stephen Sherlock has it.
Sherlock going down this near touchline, working his way down as we enter the final 5 minutes. His 9 points to his name already, looking to try and take on a score, but thought better of it. Played outside to Cullen Barrett, who goes to Keane Walsh and finds Colin Lyons in space, working it up towards the 20 metre line, looking to try and kick the margin to 3 points from inside the 13 metre line with the aid of the far upright and sticks it over the bar.
Yeah, House is always good for a score. I said that in the first half, you'd expect to get forward. That's his first time, I'd say, getting forward. Again, one of the leaders of the Bars team, very solid player from wing back, kicks a massive score to put them 3 up. The Bars showing a bit more experience now here in the way they're playing. They're avoiding contact, whereas Eire on the other side, maybe a little bit of panic, a bit of tired legs, tired minds. As Conor said, maybe we're drifting towards goal territory needed here for Eire.
Chance for Eire now. They have been in this position before and they've got out of a hole before. Can they do it tonight? Long ball inside. Picked off there by the Bars corner back. Goulding just slipped in the side in the tackle, and Alan O'Connor came away with possession. And here again, Ian Maguire, he's covered every blade of grass here tonight in Páirc Uí Chaoimh. Kearns played it outside to Dennehy, who finds Luke Hannigan. Walking the ball back inside at dangerous times now. 14-man Bars looking to try and get out of a hole. They have. Here's Billy Hennessy, the Cork hurling senior panellist. Keane Walsh, just a small bit of a late tackle across the leg there on that occasion. Play continues on. Sam Ryan walking across the field to Colin Lyons. Referee happy enough to leave. Play continues on as Keane Walsh starts to take to the feed. Late tackle there, just missed there. And Hannigan bursting away with possession. Hannigan walking his way inside, looking for Dennehy. Pops it outside though, taking the option outside to Cullen Barrett. Walking it down the line. Here is Dennehy. Breaking that first tackle of Cullen O'Callaghan's the outside of the boot. Poor shot from the Bars wing back.
Yeah, look, I think they'd be happier if he'd held on to the ball, play down the clock. We're now looking at 57 minutes, you know, not a whole pile of injury time, and 3 points in the game. Eire need a goal. Substitution out for Eire.
Substitution is Dunica Kelly coming in to the game. Man pulled up here in front of us a while ago. It looked like Rian O'Flynn who pulled up. In fact, it's actually Joe Cooper, I should say. He's going to be a bit of a loss towards the latter stages of this game.
Yeah, Conor mentioned a minute ago about Eire, what to do with the spare man, and they're getting caught between 2 stools. There, the last time the Bars came out of defence, you could see John Mullins was sitting back on his own on the 45-yard line. Like, that essentially negates your extra man. Eire need to be a bit more aggressive when the Bars have the ball and squeeze right up. A surprising shot taken on there from Denny, because that was the kind of play you just hold possession. Eire have lost another one, but a soft push in the back there. Eire are looking into long ball territory here now to try and get a goal.
Free kick won by Rian O'Flynn, played it inside. Colm O'Callaghan That's a free out for a third man tackle over on that far side of the field as both players are being held.
Yeah.
The Rogue man throwing the man away there on that occasion, and Dennehy was the man that was fouled. Daniel Goulding doing the crime.
Yeah, it was Adam Lyne over there, 17, had a grip of Daniel Goulding off the ball. Dan had spotted that there was a ball in, Dan was going to go a run off the shoulder. Your man had him pinned, so Goulding just threw him to the floor, and the referee caught him. It's one of those ones where you're being held and you have to do something to get rid of your man, and unfortunately for Daniel, he was caught as he threw his man to the floor.
Final 2 minutes of this game, and Maguire again evading two tacklers, burning up the centre of Páirc Uí Chaoimh once again as Cian Walsh works the ball outside to Billy Hennessy. Walsh continuing on his run, got possession and played it outside to Hannigan, and Walsh has done fierce running in the last 10 minutes since he has come on. Thought about the shot, saw better of it. Played inside to Luke Hannigan. Here is Sherlock. Pops the ball off. Beautiful. Here's Enda Denny going inside the 30-metre line. And that seals the Bears spot in the semi-final.
Great goal from the Bears. Again, I was watching Sherlock closely there. He hardly moved an inch as the play came towards him. But again, Cian Walsh, sensible play. Was waiting for Sherlock. Eire lads were drawn to Sherlock, who popped the ball over the top. Was it Enda Denny, number 7, got the goal? Good finish. That's the game now for the Bears. They've shown massive character here to close this one out after losing Brian Hayes at the quarter break.
Yeah, again, it's strange. The actual sending off seems to have worked in the Bears' favour as opposed to Eire, but I suppose key to that sending off is the performance of Maguire since the sending off. He just took a hold of the thing, just showed absolute leadership. Sherlock up front, excellent again. And even on the last goal there, as Paddy mentioned, 3 Eire defenders drawn to Sherlock, and next thing he just pops the ball into Denny, who sticks it in the back of the net.
Colin O'Callaghan committing the foul of a high tackle on Ian Maguire. 4 minutes of additional time being awarded by Conor Lane, and we're just going to start those 4 minutes right now. Crucial juncture. It was going to be a goal to win the game, and a beautifully well worked score from the Bears' point of view. 14-man St. Finbarrs have showed real character since the red card of Brian Hayes in the 44th minute. Leading here by 6 points, and that goal has pretty much booked their place in the semi-final. Of course, the pairings can't be confirmed until Sunday afternoon. Here is John Kearns, and I suppose you mentioned it a while ago, Paddy, Eire, since going down or facing 14 men, they haven't been aggressive enough in this second half, and that is really what is going to cost them the game.
No, they haven't, but I suppose you maybe don't appreciate it, but the difference in standard from going from Senior A to Premier Senior, especially at the knockout stages, is huge. The intensity that's played at is massive. And Eire, to be fair, they held their own for long periods, but it was just small things. When the game got close there around the 3-quarter mark, they started giving away cheap possession. Like their scoring rate went way down. Was the score? They were 9 points half time. They've only got 3 points in the second half. That's not going to get you over the line in these knockout games. And the Bears, to be fair to them, they're a lot better than they showed in the first 45-50 minutes. But to come out of a game like this now, they'll be in great position for the semi-final.
Sam Ryan getting pinned for over-carrying the ball. There's a substitution coming here the way of the Bears. Ian O'Callaghan is going to be coming in. Just waiting to see who the replacement is. Colin Lane signalling that. Colin Barrett is the man who's going to be coming in.
Yeah, look, I suppose the Bears cute enough now, just running down the clock with substitutions on and off. Colin Barrett now, has been quite busy there tonight as well. But look, we're only playing now for a consolation score here, I'd say, for.
Well, it's not even a consolation score because Colin O'Callaghan has turned over the ball, and there's a 3-on-2 situation. If the Bears can try and utilise a Sherlock, well, he's just going to start easy up in the small bit. Didn't see the man behind him, saw the man in space, Maguire. He got their opening score of the game, and he's going to get one of their closing scores of this quarter-final.
Yeah, look, it's probably fitting that the two lads there combined, Sherlock and Maguire, look, since the both of them came through with the Bears and even Cork. I know maybe Stephen Sherlock hasn't got as much game time with Cork, but the two talisman of this team, Maguire made a savage run from deep Eire, I suppose, just getting a bit desperate, lost the ball. But great score from the Bears. They're going to win this game now by 7 odd points. You wouldn't have called that 15 minutes ago when Brian Hayes got that red card. But again, that's down to their experience at this level. They're big players stood up, again, not just to Harpen because he's a Cork player, but Maguire has been phenomenal sitting back there where he is, and just when it was needed, when Eire were putting pressure on, he makes the break, makes the half yard to create the attacks. And this is a savage win for the Bears, who with hurling finish over the last couple of weeks will have had a full squad footballing only, and will be really primed to have a good crack off the county.
A turnover coming from an absolute brilliant tackle from Owen McGreevy inside his own 65-metre line, and a chance for the Bears to possibly tack on a further score. They haven't lied down since going down to 14 men. Okay, they've turned over that possession there, but in the last 17-18 minutes they've been absolutely exemplary. They haven't put a foot wrong in that period of time, and have outscored Eire 1-5 to 2 points as that ball squirts wide. And in the falling rain here on Páirc Uí Chaoimh, Eire performance, they're going to be disappointed going home with that second half performance.
Yeah, look, I think Paddy said it there, 3 points probably in the second half. Very, very disappointing. Coming from a position where they had 15 against 14, as I said earlier, it seemed to have a massive impact from their point of view. They lost their way as to who was picking up who, and the Bears just threw caution to the wind, and Maguire and Sherlock just ran the show.
Flicked on from Maguire. The deadliest of flicks. Saw McGreevy behind him. That ball gone out for a sideline ball. It's an Eire line ball. Dermot O'Hurley standing right over it. And he's going to be taking the quick one. And as the referee, Conor Lane, brings a conclusion to this quarter-final of the Bon Secours Premier Senior Hurling Football Championship, St. Finbarrs have come away with a 7-point victory. 14-men Bars have defeated Eire 1-16 to 12 points.
Yeah, I think, look, before you go on to the Bears, you have to give Eire massive credit over the last couple of years. From beating Michaels in Parker in maybe was that 2019, to go on last year to beat Mallow here, or this year, excuse me, to win last year's competition, to beat Mallow here, and to get into a senior quarter final in your first year up is a massive achievement for a dual club. With, I think they've about 11 or 12 lads start regularly in the hurling and football. They came up. The draw was probably unkind to them. But look, the system is brilliant. It's so competitive. The Bars for me, after I saw Nemo going out, would have been my favourites, and I think they proved that in the last 10-15 minutes. They've a huge amount to improve on, but you see there when games come down to the last 10-15 minutes, they have the players, they have the experience. Like Stephen Sherlock, I'm not sure what he's kicked out of 116, kicked a massive amount. He's so reliable on frees and from open play, but a great win for the Bars. That last 15 minutes, I don't know what they scored. It was level, I'd say, going into that last quarter, I think. So they must have outscored Eire by about 1-5 to 1 point or something. So a big win, and I think they'll be the team people want to avoid in the semi-final.
Of course, the pairings, which we will bring up momentarily, we'll see them going to the bottom half of their draw. But you mentioned about the shootout. I suppose Sherlock getting the better of things, 4 points from play compared to Goulding's 1, and probably that kind of tells a story in itself, Conor.
Yeah, no, he was excellent, and one of them there particularly was in the second half there with his left leg. It's just so important nowadays that players at the top level can kick with both feet, and it gives you a distinct advantage. But again, full credit to Eire. They'll be disappointed because they seem to be in the driving seat. But I said at the time the Bears wouldn't die easily, and that's exactly what they did. They, just threw caution to win, got stuck in. Maguire and Sherlock again, as I said. But look, you need 15 players to make a team. You need a panel and that sort of thing. And whilst they were key players, they were very ably supported by the rest of the team, because you just can't do it on a 1 or 2 man show.
So since that red card, Brian Hayes got in the 46th minute, Goulding levelling up the game. That final quarter going to the way of the Bars, 1-5 to a point. And they're playing 14 men on 15. Very much similar to what we saw last Sunday in the hurling between Glen Rovers and Nimmakilly.
Yeah, look, it's a strange dynamic. Like, teams often go into their shell, feeling they have 15 men and it's going to work. But the other team then have nothing to lose, and they kind of say, look, we'll throw caution to the wind here. There's no sitting back, no more caution. We'll take a chance, and that's exactly what they did, and it worked out very well for them. From
an Eire point of view, though, like, to say you won a Senior A Championship last year and you put it up to the likes of the Haven, you put it up to the likes of the Bars for a good 47-48 minutes, they're going to take a lot away from their debut season in the Premier Senior Football Championship. Okay, people are going to say they're playing, this is a different grade from Senior A to Premier Senior, but you're going to have to learn somewhere.
Yeah, but your kind of initial reaction when you get into the dressing room there tonight is you'll say, gee, we were in a great position, and look at the way we finished up. Maybe next week and that sort of thing, when you reflect, it won't be so bad. But initially, you'll be hurting. Anytime you're an extra man up, a point up, you're saying, listen, this is our game. It didn't turn out that way. That's life, that's sport. They'll be learning in it for Eire, I'm sure. But Bears must be really pleased with the way they finished that. It's been a really, really impressive performance. You'd be proud to be associated with that team.
And I suppose from a Bears point of view, again, if you go back to the last year's semi-final, there was a man sent off. It was 14-14. Twice they went behind in injury time against Castlehaven, and twice they came from behind to level it up in normal time. They've shown great character down through the years, and tonight, again, Patrick, has been no different.
They won their county in 2018 or so, something like that. I mean, they've been thereabouts now for the last maybe 5-6 years. They got over the line once. You'd probably be looking, if this team only gets one county, they'll look back at it, on that as a disappointment because of the talent that came through, obviously led by Ian Maguire, but the likes of Stephen Sherlock, Sam Ryan, and Dennehy, like players maybe who didn't get much game time with Cork, but who are very, very close to that level. And again, being a senior dual club, I don't think there's too many of them playing dual this year. I think Jamie Burns was playing hurling, Brian Hayes was playing hurling, Barrett was playing hurling, I'd say, but not a huge amount, maybe 2 or 3 compared to the 11 or 12 on the Eire side. So look, that counts for a lot until now. They'll only get stronger there. Conor McCrickett, obviously a down senior, he was decent without setting the world on fire, but again, you can tell there, with a bit more game time with them, he'll be very, very dangerous, because the accusations level at the Bars would be that maybe it's a one-man band up top with Stephen Sherlock, but again, with McCrickard coming into that team, McGreevy, Myers Murray, they're a dangerous outfit, and again, they have the physicality, they have the experience. I think if the games go as you might expect, with the Haven, maybe Duhallow winning, I think it will be the Bars against Duhallow, and the Haven Douglas, I think, is the way it'll go. But obviously that depends on the Valleys and the Haven game. But
see your crystal ball out there in front of you.
Yeah, look, again, Sunday's games will be very interesting. The Haven and Valleys, I think Valleys are a team who will physically be able to match the Haven. Often the Haven will try to beat teams with their physicality first, and letting the dangerous forwards they have in the hurleys do the damage. But Valleys are well strong enough to do that. The other game, Duhallow and Clon, Duhallow, I know, had nothing done before the UCC game. They've had maybe a session a week since then, played very defensively against UCC. That's probably not going to change. Clan beat us by a point, and we're very, very defensive. We're a lot better than they were last year, a lot more organised. But that game will probably be not one for the purists on Sunday, the Duhallow Clan game. Without the Knockgree boys, Duhallow look weaker on paper, but again, of all the divisions, they take this very, very seriously. They're very committed to their division, and we'll see this as a big opportunity with Nemo gone to finally get over the line after so many years.
It's going to be an entertaining Sunday. Just to touch on that red card again, Patrick, I suppose going forward, obviously we can't say who's playing who yet, but Brian Hayes is going to be a loss to the Bars in that semi-final in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, look, we saw with the Cork 20s this year how good he is in the football. He was probably, again, you're probably only going to see the best from here on in that he was juggling the hurling and the football for the last number of months with the Bar senior hurlers as well. Look, the red card, it's unlikely to be rescinded. I haven't seen the video, but from what I saw, like, it was one of those ones where, look, the ball was popped to the Eire man on the run. When you see that coming, similar to John Small, you have your chance, and you're going to try and take it and win the ball, but leave a bit on the man as well. He looked as though either his shoulder or his elbow just drifted up to the face or the jaw of the Eire lad, and if that's the case, look, it's a red card. I don't think you're going to get that overturned. But again, Bars have massive strength and depth, and they have had plenty of injuries this year, so they have used their bench. So again, they won't be decimated by that. But again, Commons going off as well there. That's two potential midfield partners for Ian Maguire. But I think Luke Hannigan came in, number 12 there, came in around the middle and did very, very well. So look, Bars will be delighted, get over the line now, and they've 2 weeks of a break for the county semi-final. Okay,
let's pull up that draw, Conor, and we see in front of us Douglas in top position in position 1, and the Bars, who are now seed number 2 coming into this knockout championship, they remain seed 2 and will be separated from Douglas, and they're into the bottom half of the draw going forward.
So we're looking at Douglas and Bears being separated as such there. Yeah. Well, look, I'd fancy the Bears at this stage to make the final, and whilst I think, if I was pushed, I'd say Castlehaven on the other side of it, I think the Bears will be well pleased, as Paddy said. In relation to the bench tonight, they got an awful lot of fellas on, and it showed an awful lot of strength in depth. Bit disappointing we didn't get to see your teammate Michael Shields get on there tonight. I suppose he's still suffering the trauma from Old Trafford last week, I'd imagine.
Right, no comment on that. We'll leave Conor's imagination to that one. Patrick, I'll leave the final word to yourself for the night.
Yeah, look, I think the change to the county championship going down to 12 teams has been a massive plus. Well, I'm gutted we lost by a point to the Bars, a point to Clon, we're out. That's what we wanted for years. Our county championship had drifted to 18, 19 teams, and there was teams out of their depth. Carrigaline playing Island Rovers next week in the relegation game. Things are so cutthroat now at Premier Senior. Outside of Nemo, the Bars, and the Haven, that would be considered the top three. I think the rest of us, you can throw a blanket over us. Maybe besides Carrigaline, maybe the Rovers are a little small behind at the moment, but if you look at the likes of maybe if Michaels get up or Knocknary get up, you've all of a sudden got a very, very competitive Premier Senior grade with 12 serious football teams, which we've been crying out for. That can only be good for Cork football going forward. Look, we've excellent system now with 3 very competitive group games. As Conor said, I would say the Haven Bars would be the two to tip, but again, Douglas with only 2 dual players this year, gone straight through to semi-final. Beating Nemo is a huge win for them in the last game to do that when it matters. They'll get them huge confidence. They have the athleticism, the fitness of the likes of the Hartnets and Powder, these lads. So I wouldn't rule them out if it does come to the Haven. And again, I'm not ruling Valleys out either. But look, that's the beauty of our championship now. There's very few dead rubbers. There's very few mismatches, even in the group stages. So it's an exciting couple of weeks ahead for Cork football fans.
And can I ask you, Patrick, because you're probably more experienced to talk about it here than myself or Conor. You have played in this format. Would you have rather this format to come in a long time ago, or
look, absolutely. Look, this split season is a huge plus. I mean, that April month for clubs was a waste of time. We play one game and then county players go back to their playing with Cork, and the club lads would sit around for another 2 or 3 months. The split season is brilliant. The groups is outstanding. Like when the county board got it through, the original plan was to have 3 teams coming through out of a 4-team group. That was probably just to get the thing over the line in a vote. Thankfully, with COVID, they brought that down to 2. And again, as I said, while I'm gutted we lost out by finishing third and losing by a point in 2 games, I love that about it. It's cutthroat. There's no easy game. It'll only bring Cork on, and I say that in all the grades. There's teams who are senior for years are drifting down the grades, and while that's tough for them, it's brilliant for Cork football, because what you'll see now is proper competitive games at all grades. You'll see fewer mismatches, and look, that will only be good for young fellas coming through. You're playing a proper championship. For too many years we got a draw in the first round. You play a club game in April, you'd look at who you're pairing with if you lose the game, and with all due respect, some teams, they were way out of their depth, and you knew going into the April game you could have a crack off, but if you lost, it was no big deal because you had a handy losers round. We'll be looking forward in a couple of months to the draw for next year, and it'll be great excitement, because you're going to play some teams around your level, and that's all that any team wants. It's the making for a great championship, and I say that at Premier Senior and going right down to the lower grades, it's brilliant. It's long overdue. I suppose if you looked at Congress last week and trying to get a change, the idea of people being upset over Team 6 not going through, that would be the same as Team 3 going through in a 4-team group. It would just totally dilute things down, and it would reduce the kind of cutthroat element of the championship. So look, it might be too late for me in my career, but it's a brilliant setup, it's a brilliant system, and I think it can only have benefits for Cork football going forward.
Well, I did say the last word, and virtually that was the last word from Patrick Kelly this evening. My thanks to Patrick and to Conor Counihan for joining us here this evening. The Bars have come out on top, and they've come out with 14 men, with 1-5 to a point in that last quarter, defeating Eire 116 to 12 points. Don't forget, Sunday we've double header live action in the Bon Secours Premier Senior Football Championship, with at 2 o'clock Castlehaven versus Valley Rovers, and then at 4 o'clock the second leg of our double header on Sunday, featuring Clonakilty and Duhallow, and what should be 2 tasty enough encounters on Sunday. My thanks to the lads for joining me this evening. My thanks to John on camera, to Raf on technical duties, and to Stephen back at Examiner HQ. Do join us on Sunday from 1:30 for a second feasting of Premier Senior football, but tonight is 14-man Bars, who've come away with a 7-point victory over Eire, and they advance to the semi-final in a fortnight's time. Good night from all of us in Páirc Uí Chaoimh.